Okay, let's do some street talking then. I forgot last week to do the clickbait at the beginning of the street talk section. I'm very sorry to all the clickbait fans out there, but it completely slipped my mind. And I did send a message to Jonathan, who always sends us our clickbaity headlines, to apologise. He sent us some more this week anyway. So Gemma, it's your turn this week to do a bit of guessing. Starting off with an article from the Manchester...
Was it which Coronation Street podcast has raised 1,000?
Yeah, it should be. Coronation Street podcast raises a massive and insane amount of money for Dementia UK. You'll never guess how much.
Yeah.
Right, Coronation Street fans declare this is why, as Sally Metcalfe scenes trigger demand from the Manchester Evening News. So we are declaring this is why. What could that be talking about?
Demand for what?
Well, exactly
What's she been up to? Fostering?
No. What's she been up to this week?
Cooking? What's she do?
She had quite pivotal scenes earlier on this week, Gemma.
Doing what?
We're just about to talk about it. I don't know, if you cast your mind back to Monday, there was a little thing that happened that Sally was somewhat involved in.
No, what? I don't know. What happened? I don't know. What happened?
Mick got out of prison on Monday.
Oh,
is this a little preview?
Iron bars.
What?
Everyone wants an iron bar because Sally Metcalfe used it to scare him off.
No, but you're not too far away.
People are saying that she should be in it more because
exactly
had a fantastic scene.
This is it, yeah. People are saying more Sally Metcalfe on Coronation Street. They're saying they don't use her. They need to get more of the older actors on. They're saying that there's too many young uns in there, and that's what this article is about. You got it, well done.
I've not heard anyone say anything like that before now.
They're not saying it loud enough. Number 2, this is from South Wales Argus. Coronation Street fans want awkward relationship to stop. Who is in an awkward relationship?
Is it me and you?
According to the South Wales Argus.
I think it's me and you.
Yeah, maybe. No, it's not.
Who's in an awkward relationship?
Yeah, it's just
Debbie and Ronnie.
No, that could be a good guess because I know that everybody's a massive fan
Kit and Sarah?
It's Kit and Sarah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, some people
I
are
love
saying
them together.
Do you really?
I do actually.
Oh, that's sweet.
I think it's funny. It's like watching a stork with a hamster.
I've just kind of given up now of letting. The last 3 relationships now that Sarah's been in, I've not been that overwhelmingly positive about. She always goes for the wrong person, doesn't she? Look, everybody seems to love her and Gary together. I was never that hot on it. But Adam and Sarah, no. Kit and Sarah, well, I just don't really like Kit. I don't know what I want.
Worst ex ever?
Who's that? Scooter McCuna?
Neil Ferns. Neil
Ferns, I don't think, is in quite a fit state for resuming that relationship at the moment. He's a little bit ashen at the moment. It feels... If Sarah and Kit, people have been thinking that they were going to get together, over a year now, haven't they? Ever since there was that whole evidence planting malarkey back about a year ago. Do you remember when he put... So it's been a long time coming. I'm not feeling the chemistry yet. But they told each other that they're falling for each other this week, so that was quite sweet, I suppose. But I don't know. I really enjoyed Sarah and Jason together because they were both a bit dumb. I think that kind of dynamic really worked, where they were both kind of bimbos, weren't they, together?
Well, say what you want, she's done well for herself.
She's what?
Have you seen her flat?
Slag. Sorry. Right, next up. This is also from the Manchester Evening News. She's had quite a selection, hasn't she? Coronation Street's Bernie Winterstar declares love as she responds to shattering soap update.
Manchester Evening News.
What's this? This is So she's declaring love and she was responding to a shattering soap update. What is that talking about?
It's not a spoiler.
No. What or whom is she declaring her love to? Take a guess.
An actor.
Yes.
He plays
a
character that she knows in the show.
Yes.
So
who is it?
Boils it down to shattering soap update.
I can't actually remember what the shattering soap update is. I was looking at this a while ago. But you can still tell me who she's declaring her love for. I'll give you the point for that.
I'll just say the character names. Is it Aadi or Dev or Kit or Brody?
Yes, it is Brody. She is talking about our Brody that she's declaring love for.
Shattering soap update?
Oh, I remember. The shattering soap update was Mick declaring that he wants nothing to do with Brody anymore. So I was
what
shattered
happened?
by this.
Jane Hazelgrave commented. Love you.
Yeah, something like
guys.
that. Something like that. Might be being rejected by Mick, but I still love him.
Being an actor and you like somebody posts something on Instagram and you're just like scrolling through like, oh, this is great, and then it becomes a news headline about.
The worst thing about all these articles, and they're literally all the same, is they'll have these ridiculous clickbaity headlines, and then the good 3/4 of the article is just describing what happened in the episode, and then the very end, they say they know
got
you.
They know what to do.
They know that I'm just looking for podcast material.
They love this with Vicky Myers. I don't know if Vicky Myers has stopped making comments, or if they've just decided that's enough now. But she was like. Whenever she'd post like under Sydney Martin's something like, oh, you're great, I love working with you or something, and it would always be like, Vicky Myers declares love for Coronation Street co-star.
And then they spend 3/4 of an article saying what Swain's been up to before she did. And then she... Okay,
Lisa Swain joined as a regular in Coronation Street in
Speaking of Sydney Martin, The Mirror had an article this week entitled ITV's Coronation Street Sydney Martin makes crazy filming admission about show.
Okay.
Yeah, so something's been crazy about the filming of Coronation Street.
This has got to be something really super tame, right? Like,
yeah, well, it's very vague.
It's crazy. We film 6 weeks in advance.
No.
It's crazy that I've been in it for a year.
No, but it was related to that because she's been in it a year now. She put a little post up this week saying 1 year anniversary of Betsy Swain on Coronation Street.
It's crazy that I'm in a television show.
No, she's just saying that work's been pretty crazy at the moment. I know. Yeah, she's been crazy busy at work recently, and that's made a headline.
Do you know what though? Look, can you blame them? Can you blame them for this? This is like free money. Coronation
Street actors need to get up to some proper salacious dirt kind of. Just so that these rubbish headlines stop. Give them something fun to
I don't want any more scandals. We've already had enough.
Come on, more scandals the better. Coronation Street fans, this is from Manchester Evening News, work out what's next for Gary Windass and plead, please no.
Becoming a villain?
Yeah.
I thought he was going to dye his hair brown.
Oh, imagine that.
Just
imagine if he wants a new look. Yeah, people are saying that Gary Windass is going down the route of villainy again.
Well, why don't they want that?
I think they just prefer him as a good guy.
He's not a good guy. He killed a man.
How did you find Gary's story this week? Because it feels like I didn't really expect it to go this way, but it's been since he's got out... since he's been whacked over the head by Lou, he's now feeling a little bit insecure about his masculinity. Now that he's been beaten up by a girl, and he's just getting really angry drunk about it.
I think that maybe... he should talk to Shona about what it's like to have a traumatic brain injury.
He hasn't really got a traumatic brain injury.
He has because he got hit on the head.
He's fine. He's discharged himself out of hospital. Are you enjoying this kind of new side of Gary?
Yeah,
return to the dark side.
I quite like Gary. I don't mind whatever Gary gets up to. I quite like him.
I kind of do as well. I went through many years of finding him just a little bit meh, and I think he is somewhat bland as a character. I don't think he's too controversial or spicy a character, is he? But I do like him, and I like Mikey North's great, and he's definitely a very good actor. And he's had quite a lot of time off so far this year, so I'm somewhat intrigued.
Why are they mad about it?
Well, they're just saying they don't want him to...
Because they like him as he is.
Yeah. But I think the problem with Gary is if he's not up to something a little bit shady, he's got the potential to just be utterly bland and boring. And there's no... Well, maybe it is, I don't know. No slight on Gary, but he hasn't got a whole lot going for him as a character, sadly.
This is in the performance of the person and no reflection upon how they look in reality. But I'm going to say that if Gary didn't have a sinister side, he'd just be as gormless as Chesney.
Yeah.
Because Chesney's just a bloke who blokes around doing bloke stuff for his family. And that is kind of what Gary does.
If I was to say, what's the personality of Gary? Describe Gary. I wouldn't be able to say, I'd say, well, he's a builder, he's ginger.
He's a family man.
Yeah, I mean, but he can... get into punch-ups.
He's violent.
Can be violent, can be prone to violence, but he's not super funny. He doesn't have what David's got going for him with his sense of humour.
No, he doesn't seem to have a sense of humour.
No, but... So I'm cautiously optimistic about where they're potentially going with this story. But I wish they hadn't had to sacrifice Lou for it. I don't know what's going on with her at the moment. She's still under arrest, isn't she? We definitely had the end of Mick this week. The actor who plays Mick, it was kind of made clear that he had his final scenes on Coronation Street on Wednesday when he disowned Brody. But we haven't had that yet for Lou. But I wish that they... It's sad to me because she came in as a bit of a scally chap, and then they went down the victim route with her, and I really enjoyed her. And then seeing her as a victim was like, great, we're going to get a bit of sympathy for her. Not we don't want her to be the sort of character that they're just piling misery onto, like they love to do to any woman in Coronation Street. But it just made her a little bit more multifaceted. And like, okay, but and now they've had her hit Gary round the head, and it feels like there's kind of no escaping this really. And would she be the sort to do that? Maybe, but I just wish they hadn't, because it really felt like she was coming into her own as a positive, potentially long-term kind of character. Do you know what I mean?
I prefer characters that are complicated.
Oh, no, I do as well, but
And
you can be complicated without sending somebody into a coma. But anyway, that's by the by. Maybe she'll be all right. Maybe she'll get out. People do. 4 stories this week. First up, Gemma, mix up. Mix up at the factory. Yeah, mix up on the route. I told you I was a bit tired.
No, that's
it works,
fine.
doesn't
That's
it?
fine.
Also, I could call this story medical kit, because we had kids in hospital. Not so bad. The gingerbread man is back. Obviously, we've just been saying a little bit about Gary. More on that later. He's out of bed. And we also had an Aadi story. This doesn't make sense in any really way, but I've called it armed robbery, but I put a double A at the beginning of armed, and I put an I at the end of robbery, because it's like Aadi.
That was spectacular.
That was terrible. What about lease purchase agreement, which is the one about Lisa buying number 6?
Like, yeah.
Like lease. Oh, well, can't win them all,
Don't go for leasehold. Always get freehold.
Right. So I can't believe we've been saying this for months. I don't think anybody was seriously expecting Debbie to get it at the end, did they? It was far too tempting to get Swala, the new hottest couple in Coronation Street, right there in the middle of the posh side of the street. But I enjoyed the what do they call it? Gazump-off while it lasted. And I'm sure at the end of the week they was making noises about Debbie potentially moving into their flat. I mean, Debbie was thinking, yeah, maybe I should by the end. They will, won't they?
They really should.
Debbie's been on the show for, 5 years now, since I come back, and they've not had any kind of living setup for her. But with this story that's going on with the dementia, there's just no way they couldn't have a home for her. They can't just have her keeping on visiting number 13 if they want to show her in a house setting. So, why not? Why not?
I want her. I wish she said to Carla, when Carla's going, hey, do you want to come live in my flat instead? She should have been, hang on a minute, love. Is this one of these houses that don't have a set? Because I'm not moving in one of them. I've already got one of those, I want to move into an house that's got an actual set, thanks.
I want to know how she's going to decorate it. Because they're surely going to take all the heron stuff out of Carla and Lisa's and bung it in number 6, aren't they? Which means that it's really a blank slate for Debbie to make. I really hope that it's as fabulous as her fashion sense.
What do you think it's going to look like?
I just need it to be garish and like 90s rag roll.
Maximalism.
Yeah, it does. And I want Ronnie to have no say in this whatsoever.
Say at all.
I don't think Ronnie would care either. He knows that he can flip him. He can change it to however he wants in a couple of years' time, can't he? It's like, all right, Debbie, whatever. No,
orange leopard print and like zebra print. Like blinds and shades and
100% needs to be that.
Fluffy cushions.
I mean, we've got some idea about Debbie's sense of decor from how she's done up Chariot Square, but I think, that doesn't necessarily reflect her own personal taste. It's just, this is swanky hotel vibes. But if they don't go completely to town with her lounge set, they've missed an opportunity here. I need it to be the most hideously garish thing ever.
Which house did she live in when she was little on the street?
Where do the Websters live? Are they number 7, maybe?
Where do they live? Is it the same house?
What do you mean?
Does Kevin live in a different house than he did when he was little?
Yeah. Kevin lives at 13 now, doesn't he? Because he moved in with Hilda. Who lives at 7 then? Dev. I think that might have been the Websters' house, but I might be completely wrong. Could have been 5.
Because when
9.
You have dementia, often you don't remember much except your childhood memories. And I know she wasn't a kid. she wasn't little when she was on the show because she was like a teenager.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there will ever be a bit where she ends up in someone's house.
Maybe.
Going, this I used to live. This is my house. Where's my dad?
Could. Oh yeah, probably. I mean, she was only there for what, 6 months or so, but it doesn't matter. Coronation Street doesn't need
Your
it.
brain gets stuck on. You don't remember. You know you had a kid, but you don't know who the kid is anymore. Things like that.
Yeah.
She's not going to know who Ronnie is.
No.
I think maybe Kevin will be the only one she knows.
Wouldn't surprise me. Sad times ahead, but she's still in full force now, isn't she? So we'll enjoy while
that
we got
Fiona
her.
Phillips interview really did a number on me yesterday, I tell you.
You shouldn't have read it.
I didn't read it, I watched it.
Mix up, Gemma. We had another big Corrie event episode on Monday, didn't we? They had a trailer for it, which I hadn't seen. Had you seen the trailer beforehand?
I feel like we're missing out because we don't go back and watch them.
I know we don't, do we? But what did you know?
Was it a special? Was it just clips or was it like a film?
Oh, just the clips. That's all they do. That's all they
Okay.
can afford to do these days. Did you know anything about Monday's episode before we watched it? Because literally, the extent of my
don't
knowledge
know.
was there's a publicity shot of Mick standing in the street with a kind of
I
grey,
think
moody
I
background.
Knew he'd been on a rampage.
Yeah? Did you know that he was going to go to the school or the factory or... I don't think I did.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I've got no brain power today.
Did you... I think I said it on the short as well, what we recorded on Monday, but I found the whole concept of Monday's episode absolutely ludicrous.
The conceit was like, so the beginning of Monday, who's going to do this?
I'm going to do this one.
Right, I'm just going to say, at the beginning of Monday, he's got his phone in his cell and he gets a message going, yeah, let's go, right? And then I think the next time we see him, he's rolling on the floor.
Falling off a laundry truck.
Yeah, literally, the next time we see him, he's rolling along the floor like Jack Reacher, just been smuggled out of prison. There's Coronation Street's like, oh no, how are we gonna do a prison break storyline? Can you be bothered?
He just gets out.
He got out of prison, losers. Just
Doesn't matter about the how, it's about what he does with this power.
It's like there's a clip from Mean Girls where one of the characters is like, oh, why are you so obsessed with me? And that's kind of like what Coronation Street is. If you ask a question about something that they haven't explained, they're like, why are you so obsessed with me? Oh my God.
It was so stupid. And even worse was the fact that this is the second prison break story in 6 months.
I know. And
Rob
Highfield
Donovan,
Prison's like, sorry,
I know, I think
what are we supposed to do about it?
I think they really need to take a serious
If
look at
there's
their
one
security.
thing-
You'd have thought that after one murderer had got out, they might have upped it, but no.
They're like, look, guys, if there's one thing people hate, it's being in prison. It's not our fault, okay? We try and make it fun for them. Got yoga lessons, all right? Nice food. We have like a meeting room for them to see their families, but they still hate it.
I almost kind of love the fact how they didn't bother to explain it.
I know,
It's
they're
just
like,
so low effort.
We're not a prison escape documentary series, okay? This is Coronation Street. We're also not a hospital drama series, and we're also not a police procedural series. No more questions.
It also just kind of ties into the complaint that I'm seeing against Coronation Street, which I definitely agree with to some extent, that they just want the next big thing to happen now and now and now. Doesn't need to lead up. Let's have something big happen. Like, the party happening a couple of weeks ago before that event episode. Doesn't need to lead up. They're just having a party. We're going to plan it for the next day. Doesn't matter how he's going to get. He just gets out. At least with Rob, we did get a few weeks of, is he going to go in hospital? Is he going to escape from hospital? How are they going to get that happen? Is he actually going to escape at all? Has he found God? And with this, it was just like, he just gets out. He just gets out, okay? And then going on the rampage, it was just utterly ridiculous. Going to how did he get to the school? Why was nobody there chasing him?
How did he get into the school? This is like surely
how
not
did
very
he get?
easy.
That's exactly true.
Not
how
in a
did
school.
he get into the school? Because I would say that schools are going to have pretty good security. You can't just stroll in through the front door.
I hate to say, like, if you saw a man strolling through the front gate of the school just wandering around, you'd immediately phone the police, go, help, there's a paedophile on the loose. You wouldn't be worried he's escaped from prison. He shouldn't be there at all.
I can't remember whether he had a weapon with him at that point. Maybe he didn't, but seriously, utterly ridiculous that he managed to get into the school. Then you had all the awful music and slow-mo shots as he was going
help,
through
there's
it.
an escaped criminal making our children run slowly down the corridors, and we've got sports day tomorrow. We're going to be so
Bless
embarrassed.
Sam, he's just not a sporty type, is he?
No, they wouldn't have picked him for the team.
And then, you know, from there they had him just appear in the street because, yeah, why not? He just managed to get there somehow.
So what did he do? Ran rampage in the school, and then he was like, I'm sorry.
I'm done with this now.
I'm sorry, I must leave. This is boring. And they were like, yeah, okay.
Well, he came to see Joni, didn't he? Who very conveniently happens to be having a transfer day just in the last week of term.
This?
No, I think Brody had told him.
Oh, Brody's a little snitch.
Yeah, but I don't believe that that's what really happens with transfer days. I mean, it doesn't round at our school anyway. Generally, whole groups of children will go together. It's not just one person saying, I'm starting in this school in September, can I rock up on the last week of term just to see what it's like and hang around the people that live near me? It doesn't work like that. And then if I get a bit stressed out after half an hour, can I actually just go home? No.
Yeah.
And then he makes his way to the street. It climbs up on the... But despite that, I really quite enjoyed it.
You needed to like not worry. I think this is what Corrie.
I think that's what they're banking on.
You know how at the beginning they go, oh, there will be scenes of distress and
a
sexual assault or whatever. It should be like Coronation Street, and today we're inviting you to not think about any of this.
Yeah. May contain scenes that require you to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, like so that would be honestly that would be totally fine with me if they told me which of these are supposed to be serious storylines they've actually thought through, and which of them are just like, no, we just thought it'd be funny.
Oh, it feels bad because that obviously some thought had been put into this.
Yeah, I know, but they obviously also just went, look, there's no way, there's nothing we can write, okay, they're not going to bloody pick through and moan about, so just not bother doing it. And they went, yeah, what are they going to say about that then? They can't say anything if we didn't even write how we got out. They can't critique us then. Is it our fault? It probably is.
It was completely and utterly ridiculous and ludicrous, but I still found myself loving it despite it. And I think we both gave it a banging on Monday.
This is what they thought. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But
it's difficult though, because
it's good for short-term games, but that's it.
But to contrast this with how they did Aadi's storyline, it's actually quite spectacular that in the same week you had somebody escape from prison and it was just like blah 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 blah. That's how he got out. Don't be nosy. But with Aadi, they carefully had crafted these clues and hints over like months of him struggling with the business without actually coming out and saying it to justify this storyline of him having this robbery done. And they obviously like took their time and like really worked this through. But with this arguably slightly more important to explain how it happened, they just went, nah.
Yeah, they do need to be careful because it doesn't always work.
It needs to be a bit more consistent.
What do you mean?
With like how much you're gonna be expected to buy into things instead of like being guided to them.
You can't just rely on massive events that have got no build up, a really poor follow up. And the hope that everyone's just going to go along with it. Because I think lots of people did enjoy Mondays, but I saw lots of people saying it was stupid.
But yeah, what happened at the end? Like, we're never going to see Mick again. I guess we all thought that would happen anyway. And he disowned Brody, a character I don't care about.
On Wednesday, yeah.
I don't care.
I did find Wednesday's episode very turgid. And that's also the risk when you have these big bombastic episodes and you throw everything at them. Quite often I find Corrie doesn't stick the landing and the following episode is a bit dull, and Wednesday's episode did include an awful lot of hospital scenes, didn't it? Because you had Kit's being stabbed and he's bleeding out, really exciting stuff on Monday, but then to have him just there in the hospital, I wasn't enjoying that at all on Wednesday. And people being arrested left, right and centre. It was all hospital and police yet again. So definitely mixed feelings overall on today's episode. So this week's episode, sorry. Let's have a rundown and a reminder about what happened then. So as you said earlier, he's getting this message from Brody, who's in cahoots with him about this. Maybe I think somebody needs to ask Brody about how the prison break happened. We're not going to find out from Mick, are we?
Brody should also be in trouble. Never mind faking a robbery, but assisting somebody in escaping from prison.
Well, I don't know whether he assisted him or he was just going to be there with his passports ready to whisk him off abroad. Because it seems
not like
escaping
a
Weatherfield prison is
conspiracy?
so easy. You don't need any help.
Conspiracy to commit.
But don't pick the nitty-gritty details, Gemma. We're supposed to just not worry about them. Anyway, meanwhile, you got Joni and what's-her-face, Shanice, still hanging out at Sally and Tim's house. Because Lou's also in the nick after bludgeoning Gary. And Sally and Tim are like, what are we going to say to the girls about their mum? What about if she ends up in prison too? Sally's still at this point saying, look, maybe social services should take over. We might not be the best fit for them. And Tim's like, no, we need to do our best here. Now, I really enjoyed Sally on Monday's episodes. And we were talking earlier about in the clickbait segment about people saying, get more Sally. And today's episode 100% showed just how fantastic she is. And having her and Joni up on the roof and having all those scenes where she's comforting her and she's standing her ground against Mick, it was brilliant stuff. And you got over the course of the episode Sally deciding, oh yeah, I think we could look after the girls. So it was a bit of a turning point for her, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And so yeah, I think that the heart. I don't think I'd have enjoyed the episode half as much if it didn't have these moments with Sally. So it was good that they put those in there. But anyway, Ruby and Sam and Jake are at the bus stop with some mysterious stranger. Oh wait, it's Lily.
This was so odd. What a weird choice to make, and to not address her by name at all.
Usually they'll do that, won't they? If they've got somebody who's a recast, they'll make it obvious by some character dialogue about who she is. But she was literally just sitting there, and for a while I was thinking, not for too long, but I was thinking, is that Grace? Because maybe I haven't, not Grace, sorry. That's the actress's name, isn't it? Is this Joni? Because we heard that she was going to be going for this taster day at Weatherfield High, and I thought that maybe they'd have. Well, she's a slight
blonde,
young thing. You're right, it doesn't look anything like her. But I told you I've got my face blindness. But yeah, so they've got rid of the old Lily. They've replaced her with the new. Any initial thoughts about this recasting?
I heard some people say that she looks like she could be Rosie's kid. Which is I definitely agree with.
Yeah, that's just similarities in the face.
She looks like Shona. I know she's not related to Shona.
No, she's Kylie's daughter, isn't she? I mean, they've made no effort whatsoever to make her look like the old Lily.
I think they've never bothered with that when it comes to recasting.
No.
They don't care about that at all.
No, I've generally said about recasting, it's getting the personality right, getting a good actor that trumps making him look like somebody that's been there before 100 times over.
But the personality changes when they recast.
Often it does. We've still not seen a whole lot of Lily this week, have we? We get to there's a bit of controversy about something that Lily does partway through this episode. And I think, would the old Lily have done that? Like, what was the old Lily's personality? She was...
Football.
Apart from football, yeah. Her and James did share that singular personality trait, didn't she?
She was a bit of a cheeky madam, I think.
Yeah, she was. She absolutely was. Yeah, she was... she...
I don't really know. But this new Lily...
The new Lily seems a little bit...
I think.
I don't know. The new Lily seems a little bit more prissy and prim. And like the old Lily, I kind of picture as being a bit of a loudmouth, a little bit, could be a bit obnoxious.
You're right.
And yeah, and this new one just seemed like she had her hair pulled back tight in a ponytail, and she was just sitting very calmly.
I can definitely see her as being the sort of person who'd be like, miss, you gave us homework and nobody's handed it in yet.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting that impression, because again, we've only had her in 3-4 scenes this week, but I'm sure we'll grow to love her.
It's because she's very nicely put together and very prim looking.
Yeah, I didn't mind the old Lily. I think you liked her more than I did.
I loved her. I thought she was great.
She just was never in it enough to particularly grow to love her. But I think that she could have grown into the role.
I think it's very weird to recast so close to this big... Like, having a debut on the same day as a really important plot for that character is strange, because I mean, we've had Harry for ages, and what has he done?
Yeah, the new Harry appeared just in time for Gail's exit, but that wasn't about him, was it?
No.
He's probably only been in 5 episodes so far in total.
It's not like he appeared as Gail left.
No.
No,
I don't think so.
but that would be the equivalent of what they've done here. Like, New Lily starts the same day that Mick, like, tries to kill her.
Yeah,
It would have been nice to have got to know who she was before. Did it interfere with how sympathetic and worried anyone was for her? Because I'd like, who's this kid? I don't really care if Mick kills her because I don't know who she is. Oh, she's Lily. Oh, but she's not really Lily, is she? Like, it takes you a while to get used to it. There's no reflection on her performance as an actress. I think she did a great job.
Yeah.
But you just don't know who she is yet.
I will say that, as always, they seem to have cast an actress who's a couple of years older than she should be. And, like, one thing that I wouldn't say, one thing that I wouldn't say about the old Lily was that she was kind of tall and beanpole-ish, and this new Lily is definitely very slim and svelte.
She's big. She's taller.
Lanky. She's going, like, as in, early puberty lankiness she's got to her, hasn't she? But no, I thought I enjoyed it this week, and I assume that because they've recast her, they're gonna have something in the bag to give to her to do.
Well, is this the story though? What she does when she's confronted with mortal peril?
Yeah, I guess so. They are talking about Joni, aren't they? Because they've all been told that because Joni's going on this taste today, they need to be nice to her, and they're not particularly pleased about this. Oh, this reminds me, talking about lanky kids, we definitely got to see this week that Ruby has massively overtaken Hope, hasn't she? She's a good few inches taller than her now, despite being the younger child. And, well, what can you do? Still love both of them.
You can't stop them from growing.
You can't, can you? You can't stick a weight on their heads to shrink them down. But anyway, so we also had Daniel this week, who is a big day for him as well. He's going for a job at Weatherfield High, which they're interviewing for again on the last week of term. I guess Orla must be pretty desperate at this point if they need an English teacher.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, shortage subject, you see. I think they did their best to have Orla say, we're at desperate times. I can't remember what excuse they gave for why she is...
They did explain that it was...
Yeah, but I'm not going to say that the interview went completely to protocols, but I don't know. Maybe things are different in Weatherfield. But he's there in the cafe at the beginning of the day, putting his last minute interview prep together. I don't know. Hope comes in, and this is where she learns that he's going for his interview later today. I don't think there's anything else particularly in that scene. Then you've got a scene with Bernie trying to find out from Kit what's going on with Lou at the moment, and he can't share anything, and he's like, stop interfering. The state of the relationship between Bernie and Kit is still not in a particularly good place at the beginning of this week, so there is a bit of character progression there because they turn it around by Friday. And then you got Brody coming around number 4 to collect Joni. So she's supposed to be going to this taste today, but he seems to have other ideas for her. He's going to be whisking her away with Mick and what's it? I keep forgetting she's Shanice, the other one. So he phones up Mick and says, look, there's been a bit of a flaw in our plan. Joni's not going to be with me today. She's going to be at the school. So this is how Mick knows to head over to Weatherfield High later on. Jess, meanwhile, is in the police station with Lou. All of Monday's episode was basically this story, wasn't it? There wasn't a whole lot of variation. So we're basically just running through Monday's episode here and all the different characters
and what they got up to.
Setting up their stalls so that midway through the episode it can all converge on the factory. So Jess is in the police station with Lou. She's got her interview today, and she's just very smarmy considering how Lou's husband killed Craig. She's not particularly in the most sympathetic of moods. No. It feels to me, and I don't think we said this on the podcast last week, that they're setting Jess up to be the new Craig. Do you think?
Well, not you mean the resident cop?
Yeah.
The resident uniformed officer of the show.
Yeah.
Not to be everyone's whipping boy and.
No, but I wonder. Are you getting the impression that they're making her somewhat of a regular?
Genuinely, when Craig died, I thought we won't see Jess again now.
Did you? It's definitely gone the other way.
So I'm really happy that we are seeing her because I really liked her. But I thought she was only in it because Craig needed a companion every now and then or somebody to talk to. On the one hand, not super crazy and stoked about them getting another police officer on the show, which is not a police show, but it kind of is. But I always really liked Jess. We always said that I don't know, but I've always liked her. I think she's really nice.
I like her.
No, she's not nice, but I like the way she's like. Yeah, I like her personality.
I don't. The question is, I suppose, are we looking to give her a family, a home, a personality that's more?
Not
than...
everybody has that though.
No, I know, but so there's always. It's more often that they'll have detectives that become more named semi-regular characters, aren't they? You know, because how we had McKinnon and Abney and then Swain obviously eventually came into a long-termer. And Jess was always felt like less than that, because I don't remember when her first scene was, but I'm going to say she must have been on the street for like 5 years or so at this point, at least, because she was there right from the beginning with Craig, and then you'd go like 6 months or years without even seeing her. But in the course of the last couple of months, she's just been there all the time.
Well, what do you think?
I'd rather that any police officer, and maybe even medical practitioner, sorry Gadas, was somebody a little bit more anonymous, and it feels like I can trust them more as professionals, and they feel like they're delivering a bit more serious, unbiased. So if they're not a character, do you know? Because there's all the baggage that comes with, I know who that person is.
I know exactly what you mean. She's been on the show for 8 years. 8 years? And she first appeared on the 25th of October 2017, played by Donnelly Bailey. She has been in 46 episodes.
Wow. Yeah, I watching some of the older episodes, and when there's a police officer comes, it just feels like they've got a bit more gravitas if all we know about them is,
I know what you mean.
Here's the police.
Because then it's like in real life, like a policeman comes to you don't know what they have for breakfast.
No, I totally agree. They don't knock on your door and say, hello, my name's Bob, favourite colour's purple.
I'm having a bit of trouble with my mum at the moment.
Because that just takes away from what they're there for.
Yes.
Police, if a policeman comes to visit you, it's supposed to feel a bit like, oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. But if it's somebody you know, it's just Jess. Like the characters, any character. Like when Aadi had the robbery on Friday, he was saying, Lisa was across the road and she didn't even stop the guy. And people knowing their local police officer on friendly, sociable, first name basis, I don't know, I just don't really like it.
It's because it starts feeling more like The Bill. And this has just been an overworn criticism of Coronation Street. Not that it's not true, but like, aren't we all just sick of saying it now because we said it about 1 million times?
I don't even know.
Like, we've been saying it for years now.
I don't know even if it's because The Bill, like the problem.
But in The Bill, everybody was a cop, so nobody was differentiated.
But I still saw the officers in The Bill as being serious officers. Yes, they had their personality, but I totally trusted and respected and believed their authority as police officers. And just showing the police officers now as
show as I was then.
Watching Coronation Street now, and we are seeing the personal flaws of some of these officers, it just gives me a little bit less respect for them, and the other characters a little bit less respect for them. But like you said, I think it was Donnelly Bailey, the actress. Yeah. I think she's great.
I really like her,
and it's lovely that after all this time, she's finally getting a bit of a break on Coronation Street, and fair play to her. But
it's a very unique criticism you have there.
I know. Well, you know.
Very interesting perspective.
I don't know. What does everybody else think?
I would love to know what other people think.
If you can't have no police officers whatsoever, because I don't think Corrie's going that route, would you rather that they were known characters or ones that were just completely anonymous? I don't know. So anyway, but I'm chuffed for her at the moment.
Where's Abney? Where's McKinnon?
This is the other thing. We're making the characters more regular, making them more known, then the more background ones just fade even further into obscurity.
I bet you McKinnon and Abney hate Swain.
I bet they do.
But they hate her.
Yeah.
I bet they hated Becky too, and I bet they're involved in getting her out.
I would be fascinated.
And making nobody go to the funeral.
It's sad because I really honestly think we're probably never going to see any of those detectives again. Never see McKinnon, never see Adney, never see... there was 3 or 4 of them, wasn't there? They used to rotate round.
Yeah, they did.
And again, rotating round them made it feel a little bit more realistic, because you're not going to have one named main copper who just so happens to get all of the big cases. And that's what Lisa's like at the moment. Well, I suppose there's Lisa and Kit, but they're just so permanently on your screen. They don't get, you never get any kind of respite from them. But
it's such a weird decision for Coronation Street to have decided to make all these regulars coppers.
I would just find it absolutely fascinating to have some of these other coppers having their scene, like just having Lisa and Kit walking down the corridor and then past a room, and then the camera stops and goes inside the room, and then you got McKinnon there just giving Lisa evils and saying, "Can't believe she's got the main case again."
Did you see that was? Did you see Lisa just walk past there? And don't look.
What a bitch!
God, I hate her so much. She thinks she's so great. She's so much better than everybody else.
I know.
Can't believe she got fast tracked. It's just because she's pretty.
They're probably blonde, loving the fact that she's on desk duty at the moment.
You know that it's because Bostello fancies her, don't you?
Anyway,
do you not think though she definitely seems like sort of a whiz kid, kind of like pretty lovely, like from the outside you just think she seems so perfect. If you worked at the same place that she was at, you'd be like, I hate that cow, because she doesn't seem also to like. I can't imagine her going, oh, it's so and so's birthday next week, let's all buy a present. I can imagine her being like, what do you mean I've got to sign a card? This is pointless.
I know. Anyway, so that's... can't just keep talking about police. So...
They're making us do...
Corrie is making us talk about the police. They're turning us
into these people, Michael.
I know. So, Bernie bumps into Brody. He's taking Shanice down the side of the Rovers, clearly trying to whisk her away to wherever.
Where else to go but down the alleyway?
It wasn't even down the alleyway, was it? It was just down the side rather than the back. And he's making out that she's ill and he's off to get some tablets and that's why she's out of school. But Bernie clearly smells a rat here and says, look, let's come over to Kit's house with me. Let's have some beans on toast or whatever. And because she needs to keep tabs on them.
Put some Worcester sauce in it like Carla does.
Meanwhile, at the school, you got Jake, you got Hope, you got all those others. And now, being a bit mean, making life difficult for Joni.
What were they doing to her?
They were just kind of hazing her a little bit and like, oh, you're in big school now and everyone, you got to watch out. Like, it's just making her feel a little bit more intimidated.
Most children do not hang out with kids not in their year, right? Unless they're related.
And that's why this whole taster day malarkey was ridiculous. This isn't how it works.
You've got to be nice to this kid that you don't know.
Yeah.
Why?
Sam's there. He's not joining in. He's looking a little bit guilty about it, thank goodness. And then you have, back at the factory, Sally getting a phone call from school because Joni's had a meltdown. So whatever it was that they were doing to her, it certainly had the effect that maybe that Hope was hoping for. And Joni wants to come home now after
Hope is such a cow.
half an hour at big school.
This doesn't bode well, does it?
No, because it's like, is she going to the school in September? She's now, it's the summer holidays now.
Yeah,
she's going to be... She's going to be terrified of her new school placement for the next 6 weeks, bless her.
Great.
Anyway, then you have Mick arriving on Noble Street. I don't think it was supposed to be Noble Street, but we know that's where it was filmed. The stupid background music begins, and it was all just like a boom, 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 boom.
What the hell?
What? Why? Corrie, you don't need to do that. If it really is so momentous and dramatic that an escaped murderer is dropping off a lorry, then surely the storytelling, the visuals, the build-up and all that should be enough. It always felt like it was Corrie saying, yeah, we're not showing how he escaped, we haven't given this much build-up at all, it was just kind of mentioned off the cuff at the end of last episode, let's add some tense music in just so that the viewers really know what to think.
Yes, I know what you mean. I'm going to say, really enjoyed Soap Week. I loved celebrating all the other soaps and seeing what people thought. But when I was putting together some of the questions for the Soap Awards, I did watch a few clips of other soaps, and a lot of them do have music that's background music, and I was watching it going, oh no, this is so cringe.
It's spreading to all the other soaps.
No, it's not spreading to the soaps. They already have it. It's part of what they do, and I just thought, oh no, this is cringy. I can't. I hope Corrie doesn't do this.
Really, really was, and that was all the way through.
But obviously, when you're used to it, it must be really useful if the show has it generally as a matter of course.
But I want to know, like, because Corrie only seems to do this now for tense dramatic scenes, like, but I'm sure that because like the Australian soaps, they have lots of background music, but they have like nice calm peaceful music in the jolly scenes, don't they?
Yeah, they would, yeah.
So then when you get this, it doesn't stand out quite so much, but every other scene is silent, and I'm not asking Corrie to start putting silly background music in all of it.
Surely they can't afford it.
Can't afford the rights.
No, not the rights, but like that would be somebody's job. They'd have to employ somebody to buy the. You'd have to buy the rights
music
for it, and you'd have to edit it together. It just seems like such a waste of money. It
would have been just as effective without, and I wouldn't have been rolling my eyes at it quite so much.
It's just, we don't need it in Corrie.
So Joni's turned up at the factory now. Sally's looking after her for the day, and she's given the task of sorting out the bobbins, isn't she?
They kept saying bobbins.
They said bobbins like 3 or 4 times in Monday's episode.
Brilliant.
As if they were trying to will us to score it as that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they were like, oh no, it was just, it was... brainwashing. They did like it. They just said bobbins because we kept saying it.
Well, yeah, we said it was banging in the end. Then you got Daniel's interview, and well, if you can call it that. So he's turned up at Mrs. Crawshaw's office, and I don't want to pull it apart too much, but it was somewhat similar to how I got my first teaching job. Because you remember when I was working at my first school?
That was like 20 years ago.
This was 20 years ago.
Do that now.
Thereabouts. But we were getting to July, and I still didn't have a job for that September. And a head teacher who'd heard of me because he had worked at another school that I applied for earlier in the year, but I just couldn't make it to the interview. He phoned me up on a whim and said, I'm desperate, I need somebody to teach a year 5 class in September. Do you want to just come along and see what you think? So I went to this school, and he just gave me a little tour around the school. We chatted, and at the end of the chat he said, do you want a job then? I was like, brilliant. Is this how you get a job? This is easy.
What's everyone moaning about?
But it doesn't work like that these days, and I'm going to say that I don't think that was how it was supposed to have been done back then either. I did have somewhat of an interview in about October maybe that year, because I suppose we need to do something, but I'd already been working at the school for 6 weeks by that point. But yeah, so Daniel comes into...
Well, there you go, it is possible.
Daniel comes into Orla's office. He's told what dire strait she's in. And basically, it's just a bit of a foregone conclusion that he's going to go back to working there, isn't it?
Well, would it not be a bit different for a returning
I think probably
teacher?
I don't think that she could be there on her own. Yeah, the governors would have to be involved for one thing.
Oh, boring
Surely
governors.
He'd have to do some kind of lesson observation or task. A teacher interview isn't just turn up and do an interview. You've got a million other jobs that you have to do to prove you got what it takes. And I suppose they do know that already about Daniel, but yeah, I think that it probably goes against some kind of recruitment policy to just let anybody turn up.
This is all going to come out
if they're known, and then just say, yeah, you can have a job.
Don't worry, this is all going to come out. There's going to be disciplinary in October for Mrs. Crawshaw. She's going to get fired.
And even doing it at this time of the year, like leaving it to the last week of term, I don't know whether there's many teaching interviews that happen in mid-July, but there we go. What do you think about the fact that Daniel's no longer going to be working at the STC?
Maybe a relief.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because it's the one less prison thing.
Yeah, they can't have scenes, surely, at the STC if they're not going to put Daniel there.
They've run out of naughty boys, have they?
I think maybe they have. But they've got a good set of young teens at the moment, haven't they? I really like the Hope, Ruby, Sam, and now I guess Joni.
We're going to have Grange Hill now, are we?
Well, maybe we will. We know that Corrie like putting their young kids in at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me if they're just going to have more stories there, and so that's why they've migrated Daniel to the normal school.
Incredibly likely, but my question is, who's going to get blinded?
Oh, from Grange Hill. Well, not Sam, because he's got his glasses on, hasn't he? Paint gun protection.
Okay, we'll have to revisit.
So anyway, I don't think we didn't actually get a conclusion to this interview, did we? Because it was
I think it'd be
somewhat
really
rudely interrupted by Mick coming in.
It'd be really rude to be kind of nearly held hostage and then not get the job.
Well, it depends. Like Daniel was probably thinking, "Oh my god, should I just stand in front of her and protect her like a human shield? Is that going to give me brownie points in the interview?"
I'd be thinking, if I play my cards right here, she could get killed, and I could say she gave me the job.
Who is the deputy head of Weatherfield High now?
Well, maybe he's going to go for that job.
Maybe he will. Yeah, I mean, the main questions, or some of the main questions you're asked in teaching interviews these days, are all about safeguarding. So I think they should have literally had her in the middle of a question. So I'm going to just give you a scenario here, Mr. Osborne. Say a crazy armed killer were to burst into the school at the moment. Just what safeguarding measures would you put in place for that? And then actually Mick comes in. But I assume Daniel's got the job out of it.
Well, if I was Daniel, I'd say it looks like you need some serious help with your safeguarding, Miss Crawshaw, because I'm not sure how you managed to let an escaped prisoner into the school.
I know if I was Daniel, I'd be like, maybe I don't want this job anymore. Maybe it is safer at the STC.
Yeah, it's like all the prisoners are under control where I work normally, not running around the halls.
So yeah, that Mick's on the loose.
He obviously wasn't phased by it. He's like, I deal with hardened, tough guys every day. It's just my bread and butter, Mrs. Crawshaw. Get behind me, I'll save you.
Do you think that they're going to do anything more with a potential romance between the two of them? Because I'm sure that Orla came on to Daniel at one point, because she just had a breakup from Mr. Crawshaw, hadn't she?
Is she? Is Daniel Dade?
Oh no, or was she? Or was? No, huh?
What?
No, I just couldn't remember. It was Gadas that's a lesbian, isn't it? Orla is definitely.
Well, we've always said that Orla Crawshaw and Dr. Gadas should get together,
yeah.
and I think everybody really wants that.
I mean, well, I don't know. So anyway, we've learnt that Mick is on the loose. We see Lou getting a phone call going, what? How? And yeah, she's clearly in the dark about this. But I love the scene where Jess kind of shoves her back in the cell and Lou's there kind of giving a bit of a grin, like, go on, my son. So Mick arrives at the school, and who gave that director carte blanche to put in whatever stupid sound effects and visual effects that he wanted? Because it didn't work, did it? It wasn't even like a crowd. Maybe if it was like a full crowded corridor or something with children just darting this way and that, it would have been somewhat effective. But all you had was Sam there standing by the lockers. And are there only about 5 children in this school? Because all the main things that happened on this episode just so happened to happen to our beloved characters. But yeah, he's standing there. Mick just appears. Sam turns round, legs it. Lily's there at the end of the corridor as well. They just do this ridiculous slow-mo running off, totally unnecessary. Lily goes into a classroom, slams the door in poor Sam's face, and then Mick's like, I'm not even coming after you, and goes off down a different way.
This is what I didn't understand about this scene.
What do you mean?
How do Sam and Lily know who Mick is?
Well, everybody knows the local cop killer.
And was Mick... I guess... Do they really care? Would kids follow the news like that?
Well, it's also because they know who Joni is, because Joni's just been there today on a transfer day, hasn't she? And this is Joni's dad.
Okay, but I just thought it was a bit weird, because he wasn't... He just, appeared and they all ran away, like he had a gun or something. Or a weapon. He didn't.
He just looked grumpy, didn't he?
I'm not bashing kids, but are they that switched on that if they saw just a man in the school, they would run away? Or would they not go, is that just someone going to fix something?
No, I think Sam would know who this guy is.
Do you?
Yes, he's killed a neighbour.
He wasn't menacing them, was he? He just stood there and they all ran away. What was he going to do to them? Nothing. I would prefer it if there was actual danger in this scene. There wasn't danger in this scene, was there? They were scared of him.
I was not. I had no fear at all that Sam was going to be in any kind of danger.
Did them running make you go, oh, there is danger here?
Maybe that's what they were going for.
Because it didn't me. I just thought, what are they running away for? He's not going to get there. He doesn't care about them. He's not come to get them. He's not even come to hurt his own daughter. He's come to get her out of school. Yeah, so that they can fly abroad somewhere. Yeah, you're right. Why are they all running around scared? It just felt like an overreaction, and I know that it obviously in some instances kids probably would react like this. I just thought it felt like Corrie was going, look how scary it is. Oh, he's a horrible man.
Well, he ends up going to Crawshaw's office, doesn't he?
I think he's been smeared by this scene.
I don't know how he knows where Crawshaw's office is. Although, did Brody go to that school? Maybe that's how.
Probably used to sitting
and he's
in there being berated by her.
He's demanding that she get Joni for him, and Orla's like, well, she's gone home. I'm not sure whether Mrs. Crawshaw would know the ins and outs of.
She goes, he come and look in the email. She's trying to get him out of the way of everybody.
Oh yeah, she had an email.
She's like, come and see the email. I'll prove to you that she's not here.
Yeah, and it ends in a bit of a fracas where Daniel is trying to do something on his phone.
Really obviously.
Mick finds out. They have a bit of a push and a shove, and Daniel and Orla are basically locked in her office together.
And Orla's like, oh no, we're stuck together.
Only one thing we can do now, Daniel, is make out.
We have to repopulate the earth.
So Tim gets a call from Sally next, who says, right, you need to go and pick Joni up from the factory. So Sally stays in the factory to wait for him when everyone else goes to lunch. So Sally takes her on a little factory tour as Tim phones her, and
she doesn't have pockets.
No, she's left her phone by the machine, hasn't she? So he's trying to warn her that Mick's on the loose, but she can't. She doesn't hear it. She can't hear the phone ringing. So Mick, by this point, has somehow managed to magically transport himself to Sally's back garden. And he's kind of wandering around there a little bit, banging on the conservatory, because he knows that Joni has been possibly brought back to there.
Does he know where this house is?
Apparently. Well, no, again, yes. He's been living nearby the street for a good few months now. I think he'd probably have a good guess at that.
I know that I've seen people who live on our road. I wouldn't know which house they live in.
Anyway, he watches the factory lot go into the pub because there was some quiz going on or something in the middle of the afternoon, because why not? And then just kind of stands menacingly in the middle of a street for a publicity picture.
Yeah.
Although the publicity picture was quite off, wasn't it? Because this episode was filmed on what was clearly a very hot, sunny, blue sky day, and the publicity picture was just grey and cloudy and moody all over the place.
They just took a punt on it being...
They did, didn't they?
Miserable in Manchester.
Failed, yeah. Orla and Daniel get rescued by Hope and Ruby. Again, I'm saying these are the only kids in the building at the moment.
I love the fact that Hope said to Ruby, like, don't tell anyone I got them out.
Yeah,
my street cred will be in the pan.
And then Jess is ringing Kit, who's in the flat with Bernie and Brody still, and Shanice. And Brody is looking pretty shifty as he hears Kit get the news about Mick on the run. And Kit kind of clocks that Brody's knows more than he's letting on here, and he's like, what's the plan, what is going on here? Then we see Tim seeing Mick going into the factory, and we get a bit of an over the shoulder cam. It was a bit video game-ish, wasn't it, from Mick's point of view as he's going around the factory, and it's all empty inside, and
it definitely was. It did seem reminiscent of a first person shooter or something, but I have to say it also reminded me of those little videos you get of dogs running around where you put the camera on their collar and you see him like leaping around and being cute.
Yeah.
He wasn't as cute.
He wasn't, no. He ends up taking Sarah hostage, which is quite funny because we were just talking recently about how many hostage situations there have been on Coronation Street this year, and here's another one.
Another one?
Yeah, so Sarah's in a headlock. Tim's trying to talk him down. Sally and Joni, meanwhile, have kind of clocked the fact that Mick is in there, so Sally takes her on a little tour up onto the gantry roof. And they don't use this area very much for filming on at all, do they? It feels like it's only on special occasions they'll have someone on the factory roof. It's probably a health and safety nightmare, but it does make it feel a little bit more special, don't you think?
I did like this. It was a bit like in a horror movie where you're going, why are you going up? Why are you going up?
Yeah, I definitely got kind of Day of the Dead vibes from this.
But she didn't really have a choice, particularly, did she? But again, I don't understand why everyone's so scared. I know it's really not ideal that Mick takes Joni, but he's not trying to kill her. Everyone keeps acting like he's trying to kill her. He wants to take her out of the country. He's not going to get anywhere.
I think if I was in this situation and somebody who was a murderer was stalking the street.
Yeah, you don't go, here you go. Do you want an overnight bag packed? But can you see what my perspective is here? Everyone's acting like he's going to slit her throat the moment he grabs hold of her. Mm.
But you don't know. He's a crazed killer.
He is an abuser, and he is a criminal, and he's a murderer. I get all that. I just feel like it was ramped up to 11, and it could have been comfortably an 8. Do you know what I'm saying?
But it was all that extra
Everyone's
dramatic
running
music,
around
wasn't it?
screaming and running away from him, and he's like going, "What are you doing? I just want to take my kid and go to Cornwall for the week. What's the problem?"
Kit comes in as well at this point and threatens Mick with a... No, just one of them threatens the other one with a pipe, I think. It was all, like you say, ramped up to the max.
See, Kit's in danger from Mick, but he's the only one.
Yeah, he's got good cause to be worried, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But he's doing his hero
But
thing.
Mick, I don't think Mick was going to kill anybody else or attack anybody or hurt. I don't think he was even ever going to hurt Sally. And Sally was trying to threaten him with a bloody great big metal pipe.
I don't know. By the end,
All
I
right.
thought he was... Yeah, he
Oh,
would
at
have
no
done
point.
anything to...
At no point was I going, "Oh gosh, Mick is one of the most evil villains the street has ever seen, and he's going to tear Sally into pieces and wear a face like a balaclava."
You've got to earn that title, haven't you, through many months and sometimes even years of menacing and threatening and just being a bit of a nasty piece of work.
I know he's horrible, and I'm not denying it, and I'm not saying that they should have gone, "Oh, here you go, here's your kid with a bow on the top." I'm just saying everyone is just screaming around like he's a serial killer.
The guy who plays Mick is still doing a very good job.
Yeah, I know.
As well. But there's just not enough meat to his villainous bones at the moment to come across.
All
as
I'm
that
saying
big of
is
a
that
threat.
this scenario wasn't justified at all to me.
No.
And you can agree with me or not. I'm just saying my perspective.
No, I agree with you, but I'll still go back to what I said earlier, that by this point I was still really enjoying the episode.
Yeah.
And I was getting into it, but just at the back of my head knowing that it was all a bit
I don't
silly.
think anyone on Corrie has ever killed a kid.
No, I don't think so.
I'm just trying to think. Like, is there actually a villain on Corrie who would have ever been justified for?
Well, only we've had prison breaks before, and I would say that when, say, Tony Gordon came back to the street, having broken out of prison, even having a siege in the same factory as this one was, that felt like the drama and the tension around it was earned.
But exactly. So now you see what I'm trying to say to you. When Tony Gordon came and he was like going, "I'm crazy, I'm going to kill everybody and set fire to everyone, if I can't have you, no one can," and all that, whatever he was saying. At that point, you're thinking, this, I would be scared if I was in that situation. This guy's terrifying, he could do anything.
I even think that Harvey, when he came out a couple of years ago of prison and was, had Leanne gagged up in the bistro, he was a lot scarier than this.
I'm just saying, this character of Mick is not as scary as they're making out in these scenes.
No, totally.
I'm just thinking, like, who was it that stole Bethany and then got run over?
What are you talking? Oh, Alison.
I'd be more scared of her coming after Joni. You know what I mean? Because you'd be like, "No, you crackers! You don't know what you're doing."
She was a bit more unhinged, wasn't she? Yeah.
But he's not, though. Do you see? Can you see my point now?
Yeah, I can.
I think sometimes I over-explain things because you don't seem to get what I'm saying, or you're trying to disagree with me. But it's still my opinion.
No, it's fine. So then we had the scenes with Sally and Joni on the roof, and these were superb. I really, really enjoyed these, and having Sally there being the one that was up there, A, because she's a magnificent actress, B, because she's got so much history on the show that I really do care about her, C, it was a bit of a pivotal turning point in the characters' thoughts about should we adopt these children or foster them or what have you. I thought for many reasons these were all really good. Plus they got kind of some callbacks as well, because they were hiding behind the, what was it they called it? The gossip cloud making machines. And they were talking about Sophie. And Joni says, "Oh, do you speak to your daughter much? Do you miss her?" And Sally's like, "Oh yeah, I really miss her. But I miss them as they were." And this is the beginning of her starting to realise that she quite fancies a bit of young blood around the house again. That might be quite nice, actually. And Joni blurts out that she's glad that her dad went to prison because he scares her. I feel so bad for this kid.
Yeah, this is justification, I guess, for why Sally is scared of Mick and wants to stop Joni from going with him. Because of what she just said here.
Yeah. Well, Joni still says she wants her mum back. But
that's sad.
Yeah, but I don't think she's
poor kid.
Not gonna get her. I'm getting it's weird because the Michaelis, they were in it for a good 2-3 months at least before these girls ever appeared.
We were joking that they weren't even cast.
Yeah. But it feels at the moment that they could have a longer history, not a longer history, a longer stay in the show than both Mick and Lou.
But it's bizarre because I don't think it doesn't make sense to me. And again, not knocking the actresses, but I'm just fed up with making disclaimers like that. But who watched Corrie and went, oh, we need another 2 children?
No, I know. I totally agree.
I'm not against
it's overrun
it.
with the things.
I'm not against any particular addition in general terms, but we always say the cast is too big. I don't think that children are that interesting as characters, and I think that I'm much more invested in a child I've watched grow up. So I much would rather see what's Hope and Ruby doing, you know.
But it feels like, especially like we were saying, with Daniel getting the job at the school, there's going to be some sort of school-based stories that are going to be lined up here. So having, there's 6, 7 kids now that are all in a similar age group.
But can I just add that Corrie really doesn't know how to do any stories for children except for they're bullying each other.
Yeah, exactly.
What story has
Hope
there been?
seems to be being lined up as a bit of a bully.
I've been traumatised by something that happened.
Oh yeah, well that's what happens to Sam later in the week.
That's literally all that happens to children on the show at the moment, and I'm not really interested in seeing more of those storylines.
Yeah, it repeats the same thing, you're right. So Kit, meanwhile, is still downstairs with Mick trying to calm him down, and Mick's kind of joking about the fact that he's been on a negotiator course or something. But then they hear voices outside because the police have arrived by this point. They're shouting up to Sally, so Mick and Kit get into a bit of a fight. This is a really decent fight, I thought, between these two.
Yeah, this was like a
Starts
proper...
downstairs, goes up ladders and everything. It was
one of the best ones they've had for years. This was great. Well done.
Yeah. Because Kit's got a letter opener or something from Carla's desk, so he's kind of waving that a little around.
But here's a question: if you're a cop and you're in a struggle with something like this, are you just allowed to grab a weapon like that? Would you not get in super big trouble for like trying to stab a guy to death with a letter opener?
And if it upholds the law, then you've got carte blanche.
I know, but I'm just thinking.
Kit doesn't care what his rules say. He's a renegade.
How's he going to explain it? Oh, he grabbed the letter opener and stabbed himself with it.
Actually, I've written that Kit grabs the letter opener, but it may well have been
I think it was Mick.
Yeah, it might have been Mick. Doesn't matter. But anyway, they have this chase. They go upstairs. Kit's trying to stop Mick climbing the ladder to get up to the roof where Sally and Joni are.
And again, going back to what I said about he's not scary, he's not a scary guy. He did pick this letter opener up. That is quite scary, but he was only trying to get Kit.
Yeah.
I don't think he picked the letter opener up because he was going to go, oh, if I can't take Joni with me, we're both going on the roof.
He's got a long-standing grudge against Kit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And it all ends up in him stabbing this letter opener into Kit's chest, stomach, I don't know, somewhere into his abdomen.
Well, it's so long.
Goes, doesn't it? And,
how would you know?
And then Kit's bleeding out there on
the
gantry. That
was awful. He was just lying there. I bet you they wanted to have some dramatic shots of all the blood collecting on the floor.
They still did a little bit. It was really quite dramatic. But like I was saying earlier, I was into it in the moment without realising, there's going to be more hospital scenes coming up the next day. Great, that's going to be dull. Anyway, so Mick manages to get up onto the roof, and then there's some really lovely drone shots or crane shots or whatever it was from the top there. I thought it was really nice, considering that earlier on in the episode we had that ridiculous slow-mo rubbish. The scenes that were on the factory roof are absolutely sublime. And Sal's there with a pipe, and she's kind of brandishing it at Mick. Fair play to her.
Very brave.
She is a very brave kind of soul, isn't she, Sal?
If only Mick had just explained he wanted to make sandcastles down at the beach, she would have let him go.
I know. So, meanwhile, you got Daniel, the kids, Brody, they're all walking down Victoria Street. Brody, they're just coming back from school.
Why?
Brody's clearly in a rush. He's trying to get away, wasn't he? I can't remember whether he's got Shanice with her at the moment. But Bernie comes out as well and says, Daniel, you got to stop Brody. He's up to no good or something, I don't remember. Again, yeah. So they have a little bit of a tussle as well, leading to 5 passports dropping to the floor. So this is when it all starts to come out about what his plans are. And Bernie's like, no, you can't do this, Brody. You got to come and live with me. And definitely as the week goes on, we're getting more and more reasons or being given more and more reasons to sympathise with Brody and give him multiple more extra chances, aren't we? I'm
not into it.
I'm not into it. At the moment, I'm like, okay, maybe Shanice and Joni possibly, but I don't need Brody. I don't need him as a reformed
team. I don't care.
There's too many in that bracket.
I'm not a forgiving person as it is. And this is just one too far.
Yeah, he's a bit like what we were saying with the girls, that the parents were brought in as the supposed main characters, but it feels like we're just being left with their kids, which I don't think any of us were expecting.
Same parents.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why is Daniel letting Bernie hide what Brody got up to here?
Don't know.
The thing is about Brody is that he's not even a reformed criminal anymore. He's not like Mason, where he's like, I'm trying to, do right in my life now. I'm leaving it all behind. He's still up to no good, actively at all times. If he's not doing something wrong, he's scheming for the next thing. Why is everyone giving him such breaks?
It's interesting that Brody
don't like him at all.
doing this with Mick, though, because Brody knows at this point that Mick's not his biological dad, and maybe he's
desperate for acceptance.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, if I do this, if I get this right, then my dad's still gonna.
My dad will maybe see that I'm loyal to him.
Yeah.
This poor kid, honestly, I feel bad for him, but I don't like him.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you there. So back on the roof, we've got Sally. She puts down the pipe. She tells Mick, look, I know I'd have no chance against you.
Was this Debbie Oates wrote this?
I can't remember. She wrote one this week. I can't remember if it was this one. Bernie, I think it was. I think you're right.
I'm just going to have to check.
Bernie's, sorry, not Bernie. Sally is there saying that, what do you think that Joni's feeling now? She's going to be terrified of you. Do you really want the police pointing a gun at you and your child? You could fight the police, but who's going to win that one, she says. Give yourself up, and I promise I will look after them, me and Tim. So Joni at this point gets up and begs her dad not to hurt Sally. Mick starts to well up, and then he surrenders. Did at any point cross through your brain that Mick was going to be jumping off the edge of that factory? The way the camera angles were looking,
I thought he was going to jump.
Yeah.
And honestly, I am a bloodthirsty maniac, so I was kind of hoping that was going to happen, because there's nothing I like more than drama, and that would have been more dramatic, wouldn't it?
I think I'm probably feeling the same. Yeah, I mean, it sucks for the girls, I suppose, but Mick was already dead to Joni as it was, so having him go over, that probably would have been a bit more spectacular end. And I don't think the outcome would have been that much different, would it? Because Mick's final episode was Wednesday anyway. He had that scene where he disowns Brody.
Yeah, I mean, my conspiracy theory here is that we will see Mick and Lou back again on the street. I think Lou's got far too much potential. I think that if Farrell wants to come back, I think they'd have her back in a heartbeat, because she's bloody amazing. And Mick is too much of a tempting morsel to not have him return at some point or another. So I think that maybe they're future-proofing themselves there, and not killing people off for no reason. I
suppose so.
And also, at this point, the death count at Coronation Street is utterly ludicrous this year, so maybe they were kind of holding themselves back.
Well, they also wouldn't have had... If Mick had died, then Brody would have been still loyal to him, wouldn't he? Probably. Whereas having the disowning scene on Wednesday made Brody, totally... Yeah... wash his hands of him, I suppose, or realise that there's no point because Mick has washed his hands of him. Anyway, so Mick surrendered, and I really enjoyed the fact that lots of people were watching out on the street. It felt like the numbers were up. Even Dirk was there watching on, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was good. That was good touch.
Yeah. Kit, meanwhile,
I still can't find it.
I think you're desperately tapping away on your phone trying to find out.
What date was it?
It was the 14th, wasn't it?
It's because I'm trying to do this through Apple, because we've got Apple Plus or whatever, and so I can read everything. But it's too difficult.
You can go onto Corriepedia and look at Monday's episode though to find out who wrote it.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Kit's in the hospital. No, he's getting wheeled into an ambulance.
Debbie Oates.
There you go. You were right. Mick's led out in handcuffs, and he apologises to Brody as he walks past, and then drives away. So this was kind of interesting. He does apologise to Brody, yet in the next episode he's disowning him. Do you think that the disowning was a tactic of, I'm not really doing this, but I've got to do it because I don't want Brody pining after me. I don't want him thinking he can... I need to get on with his life. Do you think it was difficult for Mick to do it, or was he doing it to be cruel?
Oh no, he's not noble. I think he's just brooded on it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he just thought, oh, sorry lad. Because it always...
I suppose it's because like, you're not even mine.
When he was trying to go through with it, he was fine, because but when he got thwarted, I think probably for ego protection, he's deciding, no, I don't even want you to be my kid anyway.
Sally and Tim go back home later, and he's telling her how brave she was when she's like, oh, I'm terrified actually. And Tim says the girls have had enough trauma here, they need to go back to social services. So he kind of flipped from what he has been saying up to this point.
But he was saying it for their own good. Like, we can't look after them. They've got so many special needs here that we don't even know how to address.
But Sally's saying, no, we can do this because today's changed her. And she's
they've
like,
bonded now.
Yeah, exactly.
In mortal danger.
So the girls are now going to be presumably living with Sally and Tim because it's as easy as that, apparently.
I just love that we can have so many scenes of Sally saying the girls again, and I like the way she says that.
Brody's phones up Lou, and she's there being held on remand until her trial, so that's going to be a little while away.
This was significant because Lou was just about to go. She's about to go out on bail.
Oh yeah, but she's told she's a flight risk.
Because of all this nonsense, she's now had to stay in.
Yeah, so it's just going to give
perhaps the last time we see her, but I don't know.
No, I don't. I think we are going to see her again, but maybe after a little break. And then we also get Kit being stretchered into resus at the end of Monday's episode, and he's again. I was never at any point worried for Kit. Like, we knew that he was going to be okay, didn't we? They're not killing him off this easily. And then that led into the Wednesday boringness. Do you want to... Because so much of this was this story, do you want to do the synopsising for Wednesday?
Are you bored already? You get me to do the boring one?
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Do you mind?
Right, so... Sarah tells David that Kit's in a stable because they thought it was a horse and they took him straight to the vets.
No.
He's pleased to hear it. It's genuinely, he says, he knows. And then she goes over to Hope and says, are you okay after Mick was in school? And Hope's like, well, I mean, I heard what Gemma said about Mondays and she was right. He wasn't scary at all. It's just a man. It reminds me of that, is it Judith Butler poem about a dog in the playground?
Yeah.
It's just a man in his school.
It's Alan Alberg, but...
Oh, Alan Alberg?
I think so.
I don't know.
I don't
know who Judith Butler is.
Doesn't matter.
Right, Sam is being kept off school for a few days because of the trauma.
Come on, it's the last week of term. All you're doing is watching videos, surely.
Well, maybe he's decided to continue his education in a place that's more conducive, conducive. Although the flat that he's in was actually a bit more dangerous too because they had escaped criminals killing people in it.
Escaped criminals all over that street at the moment.
Judith Butler is a American philosopher and gender theorist. So
not a poet.
I think I'm thinking of Please Mrs. Butler, the poem.
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah, so it looks like Sam's going through another trauma story. At least he's not gone mute this time.
I'm surprised he's not speed dialing Highfield Prison to ask Mick why he's a bad man.
Yes.
Again. So Leanne...
He should have done that rather than just turning away and slow-mo running. He's like, whoa there.
Hang on a minute.
Do you want to talk about your issues, Mick?
I've actually prepared...
Why did you kill Craig?
I've actually prepared a survey because this comes up so often in my life. So Leanne's fuming about the prison for letting Mick escape and offers to take Sam to the cinema, but he wants to get on with his schoolwork. Bernie, Gemma and Sarah are at Kit's bedside, and at some point, I think it was Wednesday, Sarah starts to huff Kit's armpits.
Oh yeah, it was. It was Wednesday's episode. There was the beginning of a scene where she's lying there, just looks like her nose delved into the crack between his arm and his chest. It
was so off-putting looking. I don't know how the director let that slip because normally you kind of rest prettily, don't you, on your arms so that everyone can see your sleeping face. But she just looked like she was burrowing into his torso because the scent was so addictive. So yeah, Bernie, Gemma and Sarah, Kit's bedside, and Brody's gone AWOL, which is worrying to Bernie. So Bernie goes to see Tim to see if he's turned up there. And he says, no, I haven't even tell the girls anything about this. I don't want to worry them. So Nick finds Hope, who's also being kept off school because of how traumatising the incident was.
Well, she's loving it, isn't she? She's just like, oh, I was supposedly so traumatising yesterday, but I'm just enjoying having a day off school.
And she tells Nick about Lily stopping Sam from coming into the classroom the other day. And I really hope this does turn into more of a Platt schism because obviously Nick is Sam's dad and Lily is his niece.
Yeah.
And this is like, you would think if any kid is gonna help another kid in a situation like this, it would be a family. Like they haven't been brought up together, but they've spent a lot of time together.
I don't feel too bad for Lily about what she did because she is only young, and I don't think that there was any malice in what she did either. I think she was literally terrified. And
well, I mean, it was.
I think anybody in a dramatic situation like this, where you literally fear for your life, which she did, you don't always make the right decision, do you?
Mick's being maligned here. He just wanted to ask them if they wanted some ice cream.
What do you think that Lily is? Should she have done that, or was she wrong for doing it? Do you look down on her for stopping Sam coming into the room with her?
She had a lot of time to let Sam in, but if she thinks this is life or death, she's doing the right thing. Because I think the trouble I keep having about this is that everyone's acting like it was a school shooting or something. And maybe Coronation Street wanted to do something like that.
It did have that sort of vibes,
but
didn't it?
we don't have that in this country. We had one and we said, we don't like this anymore. This is rubbish and pants. Shall we just knock this on the head?
We do all have our lockdown drills at school,
You
though.
do?
So I hope that Weatherfield High enacted theirs on Monday.
And do you have doors that children can lock themselves from the inside? Because it does seem like a bit of a
not at my
a
school.
safeguarding issue there to have that available for children. But yeah, I mean, if this was a school shooting, it would be what the right thing to do would be to immediately take yourself and lock yourself in somewhere, regardless of who else was the other side of the door.
You've got to look
You're not
out
supposed to
for
open.
yourself, aren't you?
You're not supposed to open the door for anybody.
Yeah, I don't think that David is going to think any less of his daughter for putting her own safety
No, but
first.
if I was Nick and Leanne and Noya and everyone, I'd be absolutely furious.
Yeah.
Because Sam could have been killed.
Maybe Lily was just thinking, he wouldn't hit a boy in glasses, would he?
Nobody would. Maybe she's thinking, look, I've only just been recast. I'm in danger here. Everyone loves this guy.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
He's not going to kill him. Anyway, yeah. So this is when Nick finds out this terrible thing that Lily's done. So Kit wakes up and Sarah's there huffing his pits, and she's like, "Oh, you're awake." and she says, I was worried about you. And he says, "I'm fine." And then immediately begins to cough blood up everywhere.
Do you reckon it's like Lynx Africa?
Maybe.
Is Kit, or is he a bit more classy than that?
What do you think he's got? I don't even know because you don't wear
Bit of
that
right
kind of
guard.
stuff. So, what's that? Sauvage.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is he one for like a celebrity scent?
Yeah, I reckon he goes and gets himself some nice smellies at Christmas. Actually, pulling the sale. So yeah, he's dead. His blood's coming out the place it shouldn't come out.
Oh yeah, he starts coughing up blood at that point, doesn't he?
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
So Gemma goes and tells Bernie that Kit's dying. He's turned into a blood fountain, so they hurry out to go see him. Then we get to see a bit more of the fallout when Nick tells Toya what happened with Sam, and they're a bit confused because Sam never mentioned they got locked out of a room and that he's probably a bit more upset than he's letting on. So Nick goes to the salon and tells them what Lily's told them, and David's like, that doesn't sound right. Lily wouldn't do anything like that. And Nick's like, oh, wouldn't she? Wouldn't she? Maybe old Lily wouldn't, but this new Lily, I don't trust her at all. She's out for herself. She's trying to kill the other child cast members, so she could be the only one left.
She could be the main one.
Yeah. Brody turns up at number 4. Only Tim is there, and he's trying to, he's trying to say, I'm fine. I don't need anyone to look after me. I just want the girls. I'll look after them, and we'll be fine. And Tim goes into the kitchen, and this is when Brody gets a message from an unknown number going, I'll call you in a bit, then we can talk. Spoiler alert, it's Mick. Lily goes to the salon and David tries to get her to tell him what happened. And she's like, well, why does he need to hide where I was hiding? There's loads of places he could have gone. I didn't lock him out on purpose. And she just kind of dismisses it and doesn't really want to talk about it. It's interesting what they're going to do about this. What's the purpose of this storyline? What are we going to learn?
It's almost
here?
impossible to tell now that we've got a new Lily and we don't quite know what route they're going to go down with her personality.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, recasting is a chance
reset
to take the character in a new direction.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised that Sam feels particularly traumatised by this because although we said that Mick wasn't as scary as some of the previous villains, but Sam's certainly going to be having flashbacks to Harvey at this point.
Yes.
And he's been as has everybody. But do you remember the scene? Was it last year where he was in the bistro and then there was a a break-in or something, or there's an armed whatever at the bistro.
There's no end of nonsense.
And there was the time where he whacked that other character around the head with his telescope.
He got kidnapped and put in a van overnight and had to learn how to like football.
He's been in dire straits on a number of occasions. So it's no wonder.
Maybe he was just like, look, at this age, I thought I'd retired out of all this. I didn't know it was going to be for the rest of my life. He's
definitely looking a bit older now, isn't he?
Yeah.
When he goes away, because we've not seen very much Sam at all for ages, and he's definitely looking like he's
grown up a bit.
He's lanking out a little bit, isn't he?
Right. So Mick phones Brody in the Ginnel, and Brody apologises and saying, I'm really sorry, don't worry about it, I've got a plan and it'll be alright. And Mick says, I don't want to hear this, I'm not talking to you anymore, don't want to see you, don't call me dad, I'm not your dad, I never was, I don't want to see any of you again. The only good thing to come out of this is not having you as a son anymore, you disgust me. Boop boop.
Mean.
Rude.
And that's the end of Mick.
That's the end of Mick, the guy who plays Mick.
What a get.
He started going on Twitter, I've noticed.
Has he?
Yeah, replying to comments and things. So why don't you, if you're listening, tell him how good of a job he did.
He did do a good job.
He was scary. Yeah. I still haven't heard him speak in real life. I really want to.
Just heard what he sounds like.
I've just heard people tell me he's very posh.
Very plummy, yeah.
And I cannot wait. I see his face and I cannot fathom that at all. Right, so Sarah's back to Kit's bedside. Don't know what she's sniffing this time. But she's like worrying about how in peril he is, and she realises that she's really falling for him. Nick comes into the salon wanting to know if David has spoken to Lily. Lily's still in there, and she's got these headphones on that she claims she can't hear anything when she puts them in. So all the adults are just talking about her while she's there. And David tells Nick what Lily had said, and Leanne's in there and overhears and is not happy about this. And Leanne is whispering to David about how weird everything they're saying sounds, and Lily can hear her. So Kit wakes up and tells Sarah and Gemma they can go home to leave him alone with Bernie. And then she brings up Brody, who refuses to accept that Brody is his son. And then Brody's there, overhearing, and storms off.
I would say I'm over the whole Brody parentage thing, but I don't think I was really ever that invested in it anyway. It's like I don't care.
I don't care about this child.
Whether Kit can father him, Mick can father him, nobody can father him. It seriously doesn't bother me one jot.
I'm really sorry to say that I don't like Brody one bit, and I do like Kit, and I know you don't, and many people don't. But this Brody relationship is the least interesting bit of Kit's story. Anything he's ever done, this is the most boring thing.
The whole of the 2007 flashback was basically leading towards this whole relationship, wasn't it? And I did enjoy the flashback episode. It's just what's come out of it just isn't for me, I'm gonna say.
Not for me. Right, so Bernie chases him down and says, "Oh, Kit didn't mean any of it." And Brody tells her about the phone call he'd had with Mick, and he's like, "Oh, I don't need anyone. I'm better off on my own." And so Bernie gives him a hug. I tell you what, Bernie's the best thing that's ever happened to Brody, and she's the only one in this story that isn't really just making me bored. I actually still really like Bernie in this, even though I don't like the storyline. So Toya and Nick are talking about Sam in the bistro later, and they think that he's going to be okay, but unbeknownst to him, he's looking up stories about news stories about what has happened, and looking absolutely terrified. Bernie takes Brody back to Kit's bed, and I think Kit says, "I'm not interested in talking to him," so Brody leaves, and then Bernie says, "If you push him away, you're going to regret it." And he says to her, "You just want a replacement Paul," and she's like, "That is so rude."
Did that touch a nerve there, or is it that's not true at all?
I don't think it makes any sense that Brody is a replacement Paul.
Well, there was definitely an age difference, wasn't there? I think that Bernie is very family oriented, even though was a bit of a flake in the past. But now maybe that's what's maybe driving her towards that. I'm not going to let another family member grow up without me. Like, she didn't see Paul growing up for a lot of it. She didn't see Kit. So it makes sense that she's determined to do right by Brody because this is her last chance.
When he says you're looking for a replacement Paul, he's missing that she's found a replacement Kit, because she didn't know Kit when he was this age. She only has known him as a grown man.
Yeah.
And really, because he's his son, it wouldn't be completely bonkers to think that Bernie is actually seeking to redo Kit's childhood.
Yeah, possibly.
Because she had the chance with Paul.
But I think she can see that if she doesn't look after Brody, then there's a good chance that nobody will at this point.
Yeah, of course. And he's going to end up like Mick.
Yeah. If he's not steered right, and Bernie's not exactly the best model citizen of this is how you should live your life.
I think she's perfect for Brody because she's going to be like, look, kid, you can bend a few of the rules. Because I don't think Brody's ever going to be an upstanding citizen. But he certainly can learn which rules you can break and which ones you can't.
Yeah, how to keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
In the right time, at the right times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do I want to watch the rehabilitation of Brody McCarlis?
No, not really. So there's only a little bit of it on Friday, wasn't there? There's more of Sarah next to Kit's bedside, and she's trying to bring up the topic of Brody, and he doesn't really want to. She's saying, look, you just can't blame Bernie for all this.
I think Sarah is like one of those cats in a hospice when somebody's dying and they come and sit on the bed because she likes the smell of dying men.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, she's just there going, Kit's
pits.
Oh, you feeling better today?
The end of this conversation is just kind of inspires him to make amends with Bernie later in the episode, and they're on good terms again by the end of the next scene. Then she comes over to him and she's bought him this chocolate with nuts in, which apparently Sarah does. He didn't like that, but he says, You told me yesterday that you were falling for me. I overheard you when I was had my eyes closed. I think I'm falling for you as well. So that's kind of new direction for that romance there. They're moving up a gear with that. And then so she then goes back to number 7 and tells Bernie about things looking up between her and Kit. But she's worried about Brody, and he might be going down a bad path.
Do you think that we might see a Sarah and Kit wedding?
Oh, probably. I really don't know what the future has in store for Kit. I'd say they clearly want to invest in him, but they will do this for any character, won't they? They'll throw them into the forefront and have them appear in every episode going, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to stay in the show. It could be that Jacob gets completely burnt out by the whole thing and then he's gone in a year's time.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he's good for Sarah. Because he's got so many, dodgy skeletons in his cupboard.
I really like Kit. I think it'd be quite cool, but I can see him turning into Lauren, where he was in the show you've been in the show for 2 years and you're in every scene, and then the next year you're like, oh, what am I doing? Nothing.
They can't keep him doing this level of stuff forever.
I think it's really hard for people to get, and I don't really get, but I've been told, and so when somebody tells you something, you kind of need to believe them. How actually really, really hard it is to be the main character of Coronation Street for a year. Because it's not, even back in the old days, it wasn't like it is now. There were only a few episodes a week. Now there are 6 episodes a week, and when you're not filming, you're learning lines and you're thinking about it, and a lot of the stuff is really difficult and emotional for some people, not everybody, and it's really physical, and you use your brain too. You there's lots of downtime in between scenes, but you're not going anywhere. It seems so tiring and full on. There must be a better way of doing it.
It's interesting to me to think that
for the actors.
Lisa was used loads last year. She's in it quite a lot this year. Same with Kit. Surely it's just got to be inevitable that these police stories and scenes will stop, because they can't physically have Vicky and Jacob in the top 10 characters every year.
I know. I think the closest
So I think we're just going through a period. It
Yeah,
can't physically carry on.
The closest thing you really get to what they do in Corrie is like being in a play, where you're performing, and you're maybe doing matinees, but it's not like that, because you've got the lines, you learned them already. You're not learning new lines for every single day. You're learning lines for every day. It's really, really hard, and it does make me worry for Swala fans, because I know that there is a lot of... they're so passionate about Swala, and they love to see her on the screen. And when there's no scenes for Lisa and Carla...
It's got to come.
They get upset and they don't like it. and I'm just waiting for the inevitable fallout when Carla and Lisa are not the main attraction anymore, because I have to tell you, the actors will not be able to keep up with this, and it's absolutely no slight on anybody, because it's superhuman what is expected when you're in the main storyline for a year. It is incredibly grueling and tough.
Yeah,
and
sure.
nobody can do it for years on end. You just cannot.
But for now, this is what we've got. So overall impressions of that story, I think, ridiculous, but quite engaging on Monday, and it just kind of slid downhill after that, is generally my thoughts on it.
Now, I'm probably going to say something unpopular, because I know that I think this is awards bait. And I think, Debbie Oates, who wrote the script, incredible writer, she's been on it for years, and I generally really, really love her stuff, and I thought the writing was great. But the scenario of Sally confronting Mick and then with a weapon and then putting it down and using her words to reason with him, and using her passion and emotion and heart to stop him from whatever he was going to do to her, I just thought it was a bit twee, and I thought it was a bit...
Oh no, I loved it.
A little bit naff, and I felt, I'm sorry, but I said it at the time, and I stopped saying it when she left, but I'm just going to start saying it again. I thought the same thing about Gail's soliloquy, and I know she won a BAFTA for it, but I still think
I think it was nominated.
Well, all right, she got nominated, which is more than I'm ever going to get in my life for anything I ever do. I just thought that was a bit twee and a bit naff.
I don't think you think
I don't think I'm ever going to be the only one who thinks that, but I definitely don't think that that's going to be a popular opinion. But I definitely super love the investment in Sally as a character. For that scene, I did love that she was the centre of it. I completely understand, of course, as a woman of any age going up against Mick, you can't beat him to death with a pipe. There was no way she was ever going to beat him, so it was only ever going to be able to use her words. But equally, I don't think that Mick is a poet in his soul, so I don't know that there's ever anything you could have said to him. And I don't think he was there for any kind of logical reason at all, because at that point he must have realised the police were there and he wasn't going to get away with anything.
Yeah. Are you feeling hopeful about the prospect of more Metcalfe scenes now that we're clearly going down this route that they're going to be fostering the girls? Because Sally still does feel like special guest star for this episode, and she'll pop in it and do an episode or half an episode every couple of months. Surely there is a bona fide Sally and Tim story coming up, isn't there?
As long as it's a Sally and Tim storyline and not a Joni and Shoni storyline or whatever they're called. I don't want to know what they think about baked beans on toast or what their maths homework is or anything. I don't care. I want to see Sally and Tim floundering and out of their element and realising that raising a generation apart from their girls is completely different.
That would actually be really interesting because Sally's thinking she kind of wants to relive bringing up Rosie and Sophie, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a walk in the park for them. I think Sally's looking a little bit rose-tinted spectacles about it because they were both handfuls in their different ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, raising a modern child, I hope that they touch on that.
I would love
Sally
it.
feels a bit out of the
because they'll
depth
be
of
like,
it.
oh, what, how, yeah, there's so many things you just do not know. And this is why parenting is so bloody difficult, because each generation of children has a completely new set of challenges and each child is different. So even if you're coming at it from the perspective of Sally going, yeah, I know what I did wrong. If you did it all right, if you raised Rosie again, but it's Shanice, you're still going to make the mistakes because it's not the same girl, is it?
No.
If you raised her the way you should have raised Rosie, you're raising her wrong because it's not Rosie.
Right, shall we move on to the Gary story?
Yeah.
The gingerbread man, although he is out of bed by Wednesday.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you go for this one.
What happened?
There wasn't a whole lot on Monday, to be honest.
So he's in bed.
He's still in hospital. Yeah.
And Maria's worried about it.
She goes off to a pub quiz on Monday, doesn't she, to try and just to try and take her mind off it. But the story
Doesn't
really
work.
gets going on Wednesday.
So she goes and visits Gary on Wednesday in hospital, and she's saying, "What was going on between you and Lou? what is there something you're not telling me? And Gary then has to admit that Lou kissed him, and she's stunned and like absolutely furious that he didn't tell her before now. And he also tells her that she set him up with these fake texts, and she's like, no, I'm not having any of this. It's too late to apologise. I'm out.
Do you blame Gary for keeping quiet on this?
I know. If I was Gary, I'd be thinking I could get away with this because she's not going to say anything now. She's in prison.
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult one. I would have thought, did he do anything really to encourage her? But then, you know, Maria can be a little bit fly off the wall, can't she?
She'd overreact to that girl.
Yeah. So it wouldn't. I'm not completely surprised that Gary tried to keep it hidden
if
he thought that it would be a secret to take to his grave.
If I found out you did this and didn't tell me, I would be like,
I know. I was thinking
there wouldn't be a plate safe in the house.
But,
no, I would never smash plates because I'm the one who has to buy them. Right, so Gary's like panicking, so he discharges himself and goes to the salon to talk to her. So later on, she gives him a good grilling, and he says that I was going to tell you, but I got attacked. And then Lou, you know what she got up to. I'm really sorry, and she's like, I can't accept this has happened. Then Liam he's on the route to be an empath, isn't he? He's like, oh, I can sense tension.
Was this the episode, or was it Fridays, where he kind of makes a bit of a joke about Gary being beaten up by a girl? I can't remember.
I think it might have been that episode anyway, things thaw out a bit, and then he says, you know, I'm done letting people walk all over me, and she says, no, you're a nice guy, I guess, and he's, no, I'm not going to be a nice guy anymore because look at where it's got me. Then on Friday, she's making him healthy food so he can recover from his brain problem, but then Liam drops a bowl on the floor and Gary snaps at him and then sort of stalks off. He's like, oh, sorry, and then stalks off to have a shower.
There were shades of post-accident Nick in Gary's performance, I thought, just being a little bit flying off the handle without enough provocation.
This is actually a really gross storyline to think that Gary's been sent into this existential crisis because a woman hit him.
It's not a bad concept, and I don't think that what Liam said was kind of shockingly awful. I know that technically, you know, you're not supposed to say that kind of thing, but I don't blame Liam, and he was just having a joke, and I think it is still something that people might joke about with their families, don't you?
I guess so. I just find it I think it's kind of grim how it just, there's this misogyny at the heart of this storyline, and I'm not saying it's unrealistic at all. I think it is quite realistic, but it's just really, like, if I was Maria, I'd be really, like, it's not that I think women are equal physically at all, because we're not, but I would find it very weird that you would be thrown into literally a mental breakdown because it was a woman that hit you. That's just so weird.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Liam said it, but Gary could have just kind of laughed it off.
You're like, excuse me, it's 2025, Liam. Women can beat men to death too, you know. It's just a bit. I find it gross. But I do think that some men would react like this.
Well, Gary has always seen himself as a bit of a tough guy, hasn't he? Even though he's definitely got a bit more of a gentle side the last few years.
Maybe what needs to happen is he needs to beat Maria around the head with a pole, just so he knows.
He always used to be the kind of...
Well, we made fun of him for being always on the wrong end of a fight, and then somebody said, no, he's not. He's really tough and he always wins a fight. And I'm like, I don't know. It is a running joke on this podcast that he is always getting beaten up.
Yeah.
So why is he surprised?
It's always been men in the past, hasn't it?
Well, Maria tells this to David, like, I'm really worried. Like, it feels like he thinks he's less of a man since what Lou did to him.
Didn't they have, when we were looking like at the soap awards and stuff, they had like the hyper masculinity storyline, was it, with Phil Mitchell earlier this year? Maybe
they thought that sounds great. Let's do that on Corrie.
That's what the flashback episodes in EastEnders were about, I think, wasn't it? Okay. Seeing what he was like as a young kid.
It's really troubling because I know that it's difficult for men these days, so I hear, to know what is you know, what's masculinity mean now. Now that we don't.
What are you allowed to claim without coming across as sounding like sexist?
The Neanderthal, yeah. But it just makes you like the unspoken the unspoken other side of why Gary is troubled, is that he's clearly spent his life seeing women as potential victims and like always weaker than him, and are like, so does he walk around the street and go, I could kill her if I wanted to, I could whack her in the head?
No.
Never being threatened by a woman possibly being able to hurt him, because as a woman, I've never, like, there's no man that I ever see that I think, oh yeah, I could beat him in a fight. Like, I know men would, if they wanted to, pretty much all of them would be able to kill me. And maybe the fact that he's being confronted with some kind of vulnerability, I kind of, maybe it's triggering me, because I'm thinking, yeah, that's what it's like. Welcome to the world. Like, I know you're not a woman, but welcome to how it feels to be a woman and to not feel completely safe all the time. And I know men don't always feel. I know it's just generalizations. But I think it's really like stirring up some feelings in me, this storyline about Gary feeling emasculated because he got hit by a woman.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's gone down this particular route, but I'm kind of interested to see where it can go next. And are the other guys going to start making fun of him? I've seen people online querying whether or not his PTSD is going to come back again. And that was a long time since he had that. That's going back like 15 years ago.
Wow.
And it has only been recently that Abby's had it, of course.
Maria looks this up, doesn't she? She's looking up PTSD, and he gets mad and calls it mumbo jumbo and psychobabble nonsense. So he's obviously not going to seek any help for any of the feelings that he's encountering.
I'm just not completely in the mood for another mental health crisis storyline, because we've had it with Carla, Lisa, Abby already in the last 6 months.
I am interested in this. I think it's an interesting take. And just because I feel like the behaviour of somebody or the thoughts of them about a particular subject are really abhorrent doesn't mean I don't like them as a person or I can't see where it's come from. Like, there are loads of people that I know that think really, really awful things, in my opinion, about something, but I still, like, I'm just saying, like, I know that people in real life probably feel like Gary does about this. It doesn't mean you're a bad person.
No.
You just hold a view that I don't like. It doesn't mean I'm right. I know that. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
I never come out here saying I'm right about something. It's just how
what you think.
It just so happens that I am. It's just a coincidence. So, Kirk and Gary is playing cards later, and Kirk's trying to work out what being in a coma was like, because he's thinking about Craig and what Craig was thinking before he died.
Oh yeah, that was quite a sweet scene, wasn't it?
And then...
Gary's kind of feeling at this point that people are being sent to look after him, which is just making his feelings of inadequacy even worse. See, this is the trouble about, the phrase is toxic masculinity, isn't it? Yeah.
Unwilling to accept help because it makes you less of a man. It's horrible, and it's like a horrible trap that men get caught in, where they feel like they have to be this way, and it's really sad because you can be a strong man who plays cards with his friend.
I wonder whether there was ever thought of having him instead of Lisa being the one out on the street when the robber came out of the shop, because Lisa's also been sent spiralling on Friday's episode, hasn't she, because she didn't chase after Brody, and Gary could have equally been in a similar position. They could have had him kind of freezing, I suppose, and then beating himself up about it afterwards.
Maybe we'll have exactly the same scene next week.
Maybe Gary and Lisa will just end up at the same counsellors together, and they'll have a little moment in the waiting room.
That there's no place for them, strong, tough guys that they are. So, Anna's phoned, and Gary's worried Maria's telling people to keep an eye on him, and Maria says, look, we're just concerned about you. You can't get through this without help and support. And he's like, I'm fine, okay? Then Gary goes to the pub, and he's getting through some beers, I tell you. And
yeah, he's proper knocking it back. Ooh.
Then David introduces Theo to Gary, and they do this like big manly arm shake, don't they? Like in Predator with the big muscly men. And Theo's like, I don't know if you saw my muscles, so I'm just gonna wind.
He rolls his
roll my sleeves up
even
more, just so you know, I am a proper scaffolder. I also didn't know Theo owned a scaffolding firm. I thought he just worked there.
I'm not sure.
I think this is a bit of a retcon.
Did we know that David really knew Theo as well?
It's all weird. Theo being in this scene, honestly, I did not get
this. I don't know what the point of this was.
Why did Todd let him out alone?
Yeah.
So...
I'm sure... Well, I mean, it seems like... Well, Gary says to Theo, well, I'm looking for scaffolders. We can work together. So maybe it's sowing the seeds for something to come. I'm not sure. But then you also... I mean, Theo's also having a bit of a crisis with his sense of self-worth, isn't
Do you think they're
he?
going to start like a toxic masculinity after work men's
Well,
club?
maybe, because Theo, for the longest time, didn't want to admit out loud to anyone that he was gay, and it seems like he's always prided himself as being a tough, muscularly well-armed, roughy-tufty bloke, and if he's saying, "Oh, I'm gay, but don't, keep it quiet," and it could potentially lead to some interesting conversations between Gary if he's also having thoughts about his inadequacy or perceived inadequacy.
I don't know where this is going. This feels like a bright quagmire to wade into, don't you think?
No, I don't know.
What do you think about it? It's all very well me saying all this stuff, but
Well, no,
I'm not a man. I don't know. I only see it from the outside, and from the outside, it is the only way I can think of is unattractive, but I don't mean it like that. It just is really like off-putting. Like, this is off-putting.
I mean, I don't think I've ever had any serious questions or worries about my own masculinity because I never thought I had any anyway. It's just, so I can't really put myself into the shoes. Like, I've got a reputation of being the tough guy here.
Yeah, you don't have to like open jars or anything.
No,
to, like, prove yourself.
I don't have anything to prove, exactly. But
do you feel liberated?
Yeah, I'd just be me. So maybe I'm hoping that Gary will just learn to accept himself as being fine as he is. Because he is. I think he's a good guy at heart.
But I think he thinks, every time things have gone wrong, there's going to be a bit where he goes, in my life, whenever things have gone wrong, it's because I've helped people. And everyone knows that only women help people. Proper men never help anybody because they're too busy being men.
See, I think that they need to bring back his uncle, what was his name? Len? When the Windass clan came on, and this is the proper right scally dodgy chav character that was only in it for 6 months or so. Maybe they need to bring him back and it's like, what's happened to you, Gary? Or even Eddie could come back.
But hang on, Michael, Eddie made cakes.
Oh yeah,
okay? He can't lecture anybody on masculinity.
Maybe that's what the solution is for Gary to realise, hang on a minute, my dad used to make cakes and put pink icing on them sometimes, and nobody thought any less of a man of him. Yeah. So.
Well, David's there. He's like, I tried to get into fashion and my sister thwarted me, and now I'm a hairdresser, but I don't feel threatened in my masculinity. Let's just get together and watch a movie and do our nails.
They did bring something about that up, about the fact that David's got a traditionally female job. So maybe that's the point of having these three together, so that they can have some kind of PSA about it in a future episode.
I think I think a lot of people forget that women had a kind of mini crisis of what being a woman was like in the 90s and noughties, where we had all these what they called ladettes, and like, oh yeah, I'm going to be like badly behaved, like I love man things, I hate women things, everything that's a woman thing is bad. And I do think that women had a little moment like that. I don't think really people talked about it very much, but I'm glad we're kind of over it now, because it was so horrible as well. Like, just and like women who don't get on with other women because they're so bitchy and gossipy, as though all women are kind of one big mass of like bitchy gossips, which we're not. So women have similar things, but I think we don't talk about it as much. And but Corrie's not done a story like this before, so
no. I am interested where it's going, but I'm just a little bit worried about the Gary Maria relationship side of things, because they're not one of Corrie's all-time couples or anything, but I don't want this to be another breakup story, and they talk later on, don't they, and it feels like that they're on a precarious cliff edge at the moment, and they're saying, Gary's saying, it's not like we were even that great beforehand, which we've seen little bits of, but not much. I don't think we need to be at risk of a couple splitting up every time a crisis goes on, and it feels like that's a well that Corrie keeps revisiting at the moment. Keep them together. Have Maria be a supportive wife, please, is what I'm looking for.
Do you think that Gary's also upset because he heard us talking about how feminine his house is, and saying that it was Maria who made everything rose
Maybe
gold
that's Gary's next move.
And pink, and it's actually him.
Maybe we're going to see him down B&Q or something on Monday's episode, and where's your blue paint?
I'm going to get a picture of a bulldog wearing a bow tie.
Yeah, where did David get that from in his new house? I would just want this to be all decorated in black, please. That's probably what he feels is emasculating him the most, just Maria's decor choice.
Well, he'll kick Liam out of his room.
He's got skulls on the wall, yeah.
That poor kid just goes in there after every meal and like goes,
But
Man space.
Liam doesn't come across as being the manliest teenager, does he? He's got a sensitive side.
He's a very sensitive young lad, and I like him.
Yeah, I do as well. I think
it's really hard to talk about it because it's like, even we are like making fun of a kind of feminine side of being a man.
I know, maybe it's just got a bit of endemic, and we're going to be taught a lesson.
But what do you do about it? You don't get drunk and then threaten to leave your wife, though, because that's what Gary does.
He does the most manly thing he can think of, which was drinking loads and loads of beer.
Yeah, and then getting
that's his
rowdy.
Solution. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really tough because it's so many things that we think of as masculine are quite destructive. But there are very productive and lovely ways to be manly, like building things. Why doesn't he build a nice shed?
Yeah, throw yourself into your work, Gary.
But equally, women can build sheds. Oh God, this is a can of worms. This is right.
Anyway, he's just annoyed, isn't he? Because he has to get dragged out of the pub, and he's like, I can't believe that my wife.
Well, yeah. Stop lecturing me, David, about drinking too much. David and Kirk drag him home. He's in the darkened flat. He's like, you embarrassed me. I could have done this myself. And Maria's like, look, Lou's getting in our heads, and he's like, whoa, I'm going to bed.
I'm just not convinced. I can see stories about people having worries about their masculinity, but I just don't think that being hit once on the head with a pipe by a lady is necessarily going to spiral you down that way, because a pipe's a pipe.
Well, what else is going to do it? Sometimes a pipe is not a pipe.
I don't know what's going to do it, but I don't know. Anyway, that was all right, that story, I suppose.
We need to get like a proper blokey man. I know who we need to get as a guest on the podcast.
Who?
Andrew Tate. He'd be able to tell us.
Yeah, he would, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Let's have an episode of Gogglebox where Andrew Tate is watching Coronation Street and see what he's got to say.
And we can sit and help him explain who everybody is.
Yeah.
He'd love that. He would love that.
Right. Armed robbery story.
You don't know, Michael, that might be the thing that finally clicks in his head.
Yeah.
That may be the key to opening his humanity. We don't know.
Who knows. Right, I really enjoyed this Aadi stuff. Again, it got a little bit silly on Friday with the robbery, but anytime you stick Aadi on the scene, I'll always say that it's going to be a cracker of a scene. And he's not the same as Dev. He's not quite so out there, and
he's not as hammy.
No, he's not. But
and
just
bombastic.
The looks that he gets. I think one of my favourite Aadi moments this week was when Bernie asked him whether he stashed the money under the bed as a joke, and it just was like
yes. Oh God,
he's so good. I absolutely love him. But the main thing this week, I suppose, is the developing relationship between Lauren and Aadi, which whenever time I say it makes it sound like Lauren and Aadi. And she's inviting him over to dinner on Wednesdays to say sorry for last week, and Aadi's we learn is getting a bit stressed out over his accounts as well. He's there tapping away on his calculator and can't do his sums properly, and whatever way he does it, they are massively in debt at the shop. We learn on Friday.
He can't make ends meet.
He can't. And but Lauren comes over because apparently the flat that she's staying in at the moment doesn't have a set. So can she come and cook dinner at Aadi's house instead? She gives the whole broken cooker excuse, but we know the real reason.
She didn't need to come round because she didn't even see her cook.
No.
She could have just hung out.
Anyway, she's clearly getting quite sweet on him. And things are going well for them on the sofa. Things maybe are getting a little bit moving to the next stage when, unfortunately for him, Nina and Asha come in, ruining the mood somewhat. And Asha's fuming because she still knows that, Lauren is a bit of a dodgy scumbag piece of work, and she did kill Joel actually, didn't she, even though it was kind of self-defense. But also she knows that Aadi's getting himself into real hot water by dating somebody that he's inadvertently managed to get nearly killed by spiking them with LSD, and
Whips.
She knows this is going to come out sometime because she's been in this soap opera game for 20 years or so. But Aadi's like, no, it's fine, she's not going to find out. And he's also swearing to Asha that they're just friends at the moment. She says, look, if you're not careful, you're going to end up dead in a river like Joel.
That would be quite hilarious.
Friday's episode kicked off with a kind of a refreshing bang, didn't it? Because it was only in the first scene, or maybe the second scene, that this robbery happens, and we see a masked man bursting out of the corner shop and Aadi shouting half-heartedly down the road after him. Lisa's there as well, isn't she, like we said?
Lisa and Carla just been jogging.
Yes, they have had a sexy jog jog together, and Lisa's too knackered to go and chase after.
I'll tell you
Brody,
what,
probably,
all
or whoever it
episode
is.
on Friday, I was just watching Lisa in that massive hoodie or whatever it was, that big jacket she was wearing, and just like, it was making me so uncomfortable because it was like 29 degrees or something, and I was just like, how are you wearing this? Of course I know it wasn't filmed at the same time, but just, do you get when you're really hot, if you watch somebody wearing hot clothes, you're like, oh my god.
I don't get that, but I can see that
it
you
makes
might.
me really uncomfortable.
So the story at the shop goes, Asher is told later by Aadi, is that this guy came in, pulled a wrench on him, demanded takings from the till and then their safe, and he was like, oh, we haven't got a safe. And he ends up, and then the man gets mad, starts smashing up the stuff on the counter. Aadi's feeling super ashamed of himself, or I suppose he is, isn't he? Because what is later revealed is that this was actually Brody and it was a setup. Did you see this happening? Because there was definitely something fishy about
there was a bit
Aadi's
where I
reactions
yeah.
to things. Yeah, but
Not straight away. I didn't.
Here he's saying that he's ashamed of himself for letting it happen, but I think really he's ashamed of himself for letting the shop's finances get into such dire straits that he's felt he had to do this, but also the fact that he knows that he's bent the law a little bit here, and he could massively get into trouble. But he's also pretty peeved at Lisa, he says, for not doing anything about it too. But
which is weird, because it's very lucky for both him and Brody that Lisa just stood there.
If Lisa had tackled him to the ground, pulled the mask off, and realised who it had been, then the jig would have been up there, wouldn't it?
Well, Brody would no way have covered for Aadi.
Well, Brody also, when he was running away, didn't have any money. Did he? Because Aadi's got it all. What he's been creaming out of the till, it's stashed under his bed somewhere. So yeah,
it would have been all for nothing if Lisa had stopped him.
But I suppose it makes sense for Aadi to go along with this tale that I'm really mad at Lisa for not chasing after him. And anyway, later on, he's shut the shop, and Bernie comes in, and Aadi reveals that there was supposedly £6,000 in the till, because Jess is there as well, isn't she?
Do you think that he's deflecting blame by he brings Lisa up several times? Do you think he's kind of like going, hey, someone else did something stupid?
Maybe. So yeah, he says that there was £6,000 in the till that he hadn't had a chance to take to the bank, and but he says, oh, thank goodness we're insured though. And I think that was the moment
when I
where
went,
I was like, hang on a minute here. and this is quite a well that is frequently visited on Coronation Street, isn't it? The old insurance scammeroo.
I would not insure anybody on this street.
No.
You know how, there's it is based on lots of factors, including where you live. No way. No business cover.
I mean, it's not, this scheme wasn't quite
also,
as well developed as Ryan, sorry. Well, what did he rob the bistro at one point, or hid out there? It feels like
not the only one who's robbed the bistro.
Michelle
for insurance,
did maybe.
Yeah. But this is also the second insurance job on the street this year.
What was the other one?
The Platts fire.
Oh yes, you're right. They're right. Okay, they're just doing the same bloody plots all over again, aren't they?
It's because there's 6 episodes a week, so you go through them faster.
Yeah. So anyway, Jess leaves, and he tells. Sorry, no, I missed that bit. Sorry. Then we get the reveal from when Brody comes around number 7 later that it was indeed a fix, and the corner shop ninja that was seen legging it down the street was indeed Brody McCarless. He needs the money so that he can find somewhere for him and the girls to stay, doesn't he? That's the story that he's giving.
Got no idea.
And so he's come to say, well, where's my cut of it? And Aadi's super fuming at him because he was supposed to be doing this robbery at night. What difference would that have made in terms of the show? I'm not sure.
What do you mean the show?
The plot wise, would it have been better if Brody had stuck to the plan?
I think it's riskier to do it during the day, and that's his point. But it doesn't matter now.
Well, anyway, Bernie comes in and clocks that something's gone on and is demanding answers. Well, she guesses what happens basically, and Aadi's like, "Yeah, I did it. I needed the insurance payout." But Bernie is fuming because Aadi has now got Brody, who she's trying to keep desperately on the straight and narrow at the moment.
Who'd have thought it would be Aadi getting him in trouble?
Yeah, this is kind of two things that Aadi's done in the last couple of weeks that are like, I see him definitely as a bit of a square, goody two shoes, would never do anything wrong kind of person. Do you think that this insurance scam is in the ballpark of what you might expect Aadi to do?
I think Aadi is slightly... I think although he's socially awkward, I think he's vastly overestimates his own intelligence, which is partly why he gets frustrated quite a lot.
I suppose it fits in with his personality that he's not that good at running the shop, because he likes to think he's the big I am, and he's got big shoes to fill from Dev. You know, my dad used to have 7 shops and is a bit of a name out there in the square dealers or what have you, and then I'm there saying, I want to follow in my dad's footsteps, but you're just not that good. Yeah. Maybe you would be driven to take this sort of risk, because I don't think that Aadi, although he is a bit of a nerd, I don't think that he always thinks things through. Yeah. He's like...
No, he's not very good at consequences and forward planning.
No.
Otherwise he wouldn't have ended up with Courtney, would he?
No, he should join the Corrie writers team.
Oh my God.
Burn.
Rude.
I kid. Anyway, so yeah, he's kind of pretty ashamed of himself, and so's Bernie. And he says, look, the shop is really struggling. We're £6,000 in debt. I don't want everybody knowing that I've been a failure, and it felt like this is the only choice that I've got. So he's been stashing away cash, hasn't
he?
From the takings. He's got that hidden away
under his bed.
I don't understand business. I mean, Aadi's a better business head than me.
He's got this £6,000 he claims has been stolen.
Yeah.
So when the £6,000 gets given to him, he can use it to pay the debts off, and he'll still have the £6,000.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes total sense.
Maths says.
I would never come up with a plan like this, because I'm not clever enough, clearly, with money. And Bernie's like, I can't believe you're getting Brody involved. This. Please don't tell Dad. Says Aadi. So Aadi says,
well, he's look, help me.
we've got to get away with this. Dev's going to kill me if he finds out, which was quite cute. But he's not worried about getting arrested. He just doesn't want to disappoint his old man. And she says, look, this is fraud. But I think eventually she agrees to go along with it, because she doesn't want Brody to be arrested, because he's going to go straight back into the STC, and he's not going to get a storyline this time, because Daniel's working at Welly High now.
Think about it.
It's like throwing him into a black hole going to the STC now.
Yep.
Aadi goes back to the shop. Lauren comes in, because that storyline thread picks up again. She wants some cola cube. That was quite
she brings him cola cubes.
Oh yeah, that's it. That was quite a sweet little moment.
They're too sweet for them, which I don't understand, because it's literally the point of sweets.
Yeah, but you don't like too sweet stuff, do you?
I don't say I don't like it because it's too sweet. Can I just say, nothing is too sweet with the correct beverage.
We've been going through a big tub of pineapple cubes at the moment.
Yes, I like them.
They are very tasty. They've literally been...
Do you like cola cubes?
I don't know whether I've ever had a cola cube.
You don't like... Michael does not like Coca-Cola.
I don't like drinking Coke, but I don't mind sweet, like the little cola bottle sweet, so maybe I would like them.
I think cola cubes are lovely.
Oh, maybe we need to get some then. Stick it on the next Foodie Friday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did you know that the courgette soup we had today was De Barnes's recipe?
No, I didn't.
It was.
This is Des Barnes's from the Curry Cookbook, was it?
It's actually a really good recipe.
It didn't taste of courgettes at all.
It really didn't, and it had loads of courgettes in it.
I know.
It's something like 450 grams of courgettes, cooked in butter, 780 millilitres of chicken stock, and then you cook all that together, and then you blend it down, and then you put in 55 grams of Lancashire cheese, and then I think he says half a large pot of double cream, which is about 300 millilitres.
Oh, there you go. Stick it all. Show
us
your creations, listeners. As you follow
impressed that I remember all of the measurements?
I know that's a thing that you like to know.
I don't always know.
Still impressive though. Anyway, Lauren's like, with all the drama gone this week, it's made me realise that actually I kind of like you, and I hope you like me back. So as long with Kit and Sarah declaring their feelings for each other, we've got this two little thing blossoming here. Blossoming.
I think that blossoming.
Where's Amy? Oh my gosh, I just want Aadi and Amy to get together, even though Amy said that there's nothing. Do you think there's any hope in bringing that one back, or is that dead in the water?
Dead in the water.
So sad.
Anyway, blossoming is a great description of a Coronation Street couple that we don't want to happen.
Blossoming, yeah.
When they start blossoming, and we're all worried about it.
Anyway, Aadi is just about to confess to this robbery.
I wanted to kill myself.
I know, it's like, oh my gosh, soap trope alert. Let me tell you something, Lauren. No. Let me tell you first.
And I said, let me pause it and go walk into traffic.
Well, Asher comes in at this point as well, so the chance to confess is all gone. And Asher is again telling Aadi, you are mega playing with fire with this girl, honestly, what are you doing? Bernie tells Aadi and Brody that she's going to stick to their story with them. And then, as a last hurrah at the end of the episode, Dev returns triumphantly from his holidays in India. Surprised because nobody can ever come back from a trip away on the time when people are expecting them in Coronation Street. It's always got to be a surprise revisit, and they have a lovely hug and everything. Dev's clearly going to find out at some point, isn't he? I'm kind of really looking forward to that scene because it's hopefully going to have Dev being angry Dev, and I love angry Dev when he whips it out.
Oh, what?
Because do you think that if Dev found out, would he shop Aadi?
There is a chance, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't think he will, but it's a gamble actually with Dev.
He feels like he should be taught a lesson.
Sometimes he finds his morals down the back of the sofa.
And he's got no cause to care what happens to Brody. I know that Bernie's been telling him about him on the phone these months that he's been away, but I don't think Dev's even met Brody yet, has he? No, he hasn't.
Dev is probably
so he's nothing to him.
Going to blame Brody for this and say that Brody's corrupted Aadi, and that will make Bernie and Dev fall out.
Yes. That's a very good idea. Good prediction. Like it.
Thank you.
Anyway, joy to the world. Dev is back. Let's hope that there's Deving aplenty next week.
Oh,
he even kind of devved around the lounge, didn't he?
He did. He like Dev pizza.
He was literally in it for 20 seconds, and he was on maximum devage. Love it.
I was so happy to see him.
Yeah.
Oh, I just loved the way he made a great entrance. I was like, yes.
He did. I love that family so much. Like, I adore the Alahans.
I know. I want to give them all a pinch on their cheeks.
I know. Right, lease purchase agreement, Gemma. What's Lisa been up to in Carla this week?
You've got
what
to
tragic
also
drama?
put in your little pocket of puns. Lisa said Soonest Mendes.
Yeah. There's quite a few that can come out of this, isn't there?
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, I was trying to think of more, but
who's going to get
we all
number
know
6?
that I don't do puns. So on Wednesday, Debbie says to Carl that she's feeling confident about getting number 6 because she put this offer in. And then she gets a phone call from the estate agents and realises that they've accepted another offer, and she's absolutely fuming and she's been gazumped. And it must be Carla.
I don't think I've ever heard the word gazump more in a week than I have on this week's Coronation Street.
Oh, really?
Well, apart from when it happened to us, of course. Yeah, what was it that Debbie said? Like, I always used to think that gazumping was...
it's my favourite word.
A hilarious, a brilliant thing. It turns out when it happens to you, it's not quite so fun. Or
yes. You've literally
snappier.
written the quote here.
Oh, yeah. It turns out gazumping's only fun when it happens to other people, she said. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah, she's moaning about it to Ryan.
Yes.
And she says she's been outshocked by Carla, but then she describes herself as the Great White when she finally offers...
There was some really nice writing in this story this week for Debbie.
She offers 30k over the asking price, which is absolutely bonkers, really, for...
She just wants to win.
I know. But me and you were like, is she getting a mortgage? I really hope not.
Yeah, I don't know whether a mortgage lender would be really up for...
Do you have to declare?
At the moment.
You do have to do.
Yeah, you would.
Medical stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh dear.
Or maybe it's Ronnie she'd given the money to Ronnie and he's buying it.
Well, I mean, I love the idea that she just has, several £100,000 to buy a house, and she only just thought of buying one now.
Yeah.
But Ronnie, Carla and Debbie are in the pub, and she's like, yes, I offered 30 grand over the asking price. And then Ronnie's like, is this because you've got dementia? She's like, how dare you?
I don't know whether Ronnie comes out right and says it, but he's thinking, this isn't a really wise thing to do. And she kind of said, oh, is it because you think I've got dementia? Well, actually, I'm in my prime at the moment. So
she was on form this week. I was really happy for her.
Debbie's always on form.
Well, it's not going to be consistently... great time for Debbie, is it? I'm just happy that she's happy.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
So Friday, Carla and Lisa, you think they've had a power walk, but I think they've just been running.
I don't know.
But that is the sort of thing I would say if I had not actually been running. I'd just been walking, but pretending I'd been running. So they reach number 6 and they're like, I can't believe Debbie's gotten us. We should bid more, but Debbie's already bid so high. And then Alia comes out and is like, oh yes, grand surprised as well. And then a robber runs out of the street, and this is when Lisa freezes and she can't move, and everyone's like, what are you doing? And they go back to the flat, and Carla's trying to talk to Lisa about it, and Lisa's trying to ignore her, going, well, I want my job. I wasn't on duty. It happened too fast. Can
Well,
you
no,
drop it?
she's saying it as an excuse. You can tell that she's like really quite shaken by
she is. She
her lack
did not
of action
expect to freeze like that.
No, she's going through something similar to Gary, isn't she?
Yeah.
Where he's calling his masculinity into question, and she's calling her copperness.
It's not just that. It's like first of all, she's scared because she didn't expect that to happen, and secondly, she's probably thinking to herself, if I do this when I'm at work, someone could die. I could die. This could be really bad. How do I don't even know why I did it. This must be absolutely terrifying for her.
Yeah.
So,
something to tell the therapist about next
That's
session.
what I was thinking. So she's like, can you just drop it? I just need hugs and red wine. But then Carla goes to work and she's like, oh. At the hotel, Ronnie is telling Debbie that she's just offered too much for this house. It's pretty reckless. What if it turns into a bidding war and then they bid up so high and then you match it and then they pull out and you've paid money for nothing? He goes off to work, and then there's a funny bit where Ryan comes and they're doing some personal training together and she's pretending to do stretches and she
was
didn't.
amazing.
He was like stretching and stretching his toes. She's drinking a coffee.
Yeah, she kind of reaches out to the side for a stretch and grabs her coffee. That was brilliant.
I
That
love
was such a
Cedar
nice
Rainey.
little moment.
Funny little warm up. And then they go on an invigorating run and they end up in Coronation Street. And although Debbie tries to avoid her, they end up running into Carla. And Carla's like, look, you're not thinking straight about this. You shouldn't have put that high bid in. And Ryan says...
Ryan's caught in between the two, isn't he?
Yeah, one's his aunt and one's his boss.
Yeah.
And Debbie says, well, if you want it that badly, gazump me. So Carla goes back to the flat going on about Debbie to Lisa, who is just starting to cry. And Carla's like, oh no, and gives her a cuddle and they have a chat. Then Kev shows up at the hotel for a free drink and a chance to talk about the fact that Debbie's offered so much money.
Yeah,
for this
everyone's
house.
realised.
Like,
Everybody
what are you
knows
doing?
that this is a bold move.
I think what Debbie's done is gone, I cannot control anything in my life, but I can bloody well make sure I buy that house.
Yeah,
and
she
I
knows
don't
it
care
exactly. She
if it
knows
costs me
exactly
30
what
grand.
she's doing.
She's like, yeah, I know it probably looks bad to everyone else, but this is something I can, like, I don't care how much it costs. I want to be near my family, and this is something like, how long have I got left? How long have I got left to enjoy myself? Let me buy a house if it costs me 30 grand more. So what? It's not your money.
Yeah, exactly. Fair play to her. Do it.
Well, he's saying to her,
nice
do you really want to live there that much? And she says, I want to be near my family. So he's like, oh, think about it a bit more. So back at the hotel, Debbie's feeling good. And she says, you know what? I'm going to withdraw my offer. I just wanted to see Carla's face when I gazumped her. And she says, I'm not doing it for Carla, the baby shark. I'm doing it for me, the great white. And that was great.
I do kind of wish that Debbie had got number 6, but we all knew it was going to be Carla.
Yeah.
So despite the story having a very obvious conclusion, I'm glad that it happened.
The journey was fun.
Yeah, it was a fun journey.
Yeah.
You're right.
So Lisa is still upset about not reacting, and she doesn't know she's ever going to be ready to go out on the street. And Carla's trying to remind her of all the good that she's done as a copper and that she needs to focus on that, and they're going to get through it together. And then she gets the message from Debbie saying that Debbie's pulled out, and she's like, yay, we got a new house. And Lisa's just so in turmoil that she's not even happy. She can't get excited about it. So
how long's it going to be until they move in, though? Because
tomorrow,
as we know, the wheels
week.
in Weatherfield move very fast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me if next week they're moving in.
If I was Alia and Yasmin, though, I'd be fuming at this point.
Why?
Look, 30 grand down the drain.
Yeah, Yasmin probably went and splashed out on a...
Yeah.
I don't know, what would Yasmin buy to spoil
organic
herself?
hummus.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
then
you
she
eat in
had to-
London.
Yeah, and then she had to go back to the
That's what your sister's
Whole
always
Foods and
eating,
give it-
isn't she?
Yeah. Really nice pair of dangly earrings or something. And nice got a go. Maybe
Well,
she
when we-
donated it to the charity.
When we got gazumped, the other people pulled out in the end, and then we still had to pay what they gazumped herself. So maybe they'll have to pay 30 grand. Well, if Yasmin's savvy, she'll make him pay it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Lisa's like just not excited at all. So Carla goes to the Rovers by herself, and she talks to Ryan and said, I can't even celebrate because I'm really worried about Lisa. I'm gonna have to do something to help her out. But the Webster clan are there celebrate. Well, they're kind of like proud of Debbie for making a good choice. But then Carla comes over and says, my flat, you can come and view it if you want to, but let me know because I need to tidy up. Carla, your house is always tidy.
Yeah. So Debbie's going to live there.
She says,
Carla and Lisa
I'll
at
think
number
about
6.
it. She said she didn't want to live in a pokey flat, but it's only pokey if you've got a million relatives living with you, like.
Yeah,
like
I think it will be fine
Carla
for
does.
them. My question is, is the curse of number 6 broken, or are Lisa and Carla in for some spooky times ahead?
I don't want to get any Swallow fans upset, but maybe just avoid our curse at number 6.
Yeah, many a murder has happened in that house before.
It is a revolving door of that. That is the
I'd
house.
say that the Nazirs have broken the curse.
Do you reckon?
At least of characters, at least the revolving doorness of it.
Because they only ever lasted a few years.
Yeah, people have still dropped dead in that house whilst the Nazirs have been owning it. Like, what's his name? Hashim the other year. That's, I'm
lots
sure
of dead
they
people,
have
lots of ghosts.
Many a happier time ahead and lots of drama.
And what was I going to say?
I don't know.
Don't know.
What was your character of the week and what score did you
Debbie.
give this week's Coronation to? Are you going for Debbie, are you?
Because of her
Debbie
drinking
was top this week.
the cappuccino and calling herself the Great White.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn between a few characters this week, to be honest. I'm thinking I'm probably going to settle on Sally because I really, really loved those scenes with Sally and Jamie
I should
on
say
on
Sally,
Monday.
but I'm saying Debbie.
She was.
It should
brilliant.
be It should be Sally.
But I mean, she was only in kind of that episode, wasn't she? She didn't have much to do beyond Monday, whereas Debbie was good all week. But
everyone's lives.
She saved everyone's lives. She was a great potential future foster mum to Joni, and it was just a brilliant performance all round. But I thought, Mick was very good, as stupid and ridiculous and ludicrous as the story was. I think that Mick was a really I'm not going to say really, relatively effective villain on Monday, and I really enjoyed his rampage despite myself.
Everyone gets props for selling that ridiculous scenario on Monday. Writer, director, I mean, the slow-mo, just put that in the bin. But, everyone sold it, even though it was, if you stop and thought about it for 5 seconds, you'd go, this is silly.
Yeah. I would also say that Aadi could be potentially a character of the week this week, just because I love him. And he's been a total doofus with everything this week, but he's just such fun to watch. And, despite only being in 20 seconds of the week, maybe Dev. But
I know, I was going to say Dev.
I can't be Dev, he's not been in it enough. I'm going to go Sally, actually.
Good.
She was top, and fair play to Corrie for giving her a real meaty scene to do. There were a couple of scenes on Monday, that was good.
Good for her, her BAFTA soliloquy.
Yeah. You gave 2 bangings and a bog standard, I think, this week, didn't you?
Right.
So, and I gave a couple of bog standards and 1 banging. I thought, Monday's episode was really strong. I found Wednesday's to be so bland as you like. It was a bit of a chore to watch Wednesdays for me, just with the amount of Kit and Sarah in hospital that there was. But it was up again on Friday because there was more the Alahan drama.
Kit.
I think I'm probably gonna settle on 3.5.
Don't pick mine.
What are you going to say?
3.5 gazumping sharks.
Okay.
Because I told you to write that down, so it's mine.
Oh, fine. Okay. I'm going to give it 3.5 smelly armpits out of 5. And that's character of the week, Sally. So it was all right. It was fine. It was okay. And I am feeling positive about next week's Coronation Street. I don't
Why?
No, it's just because Dev's back. I don't know anything that's happening in next week's Corrie. Genuinely, I don't. I'm looking forward to finding out more about new Lily and what she's like. Hopefully, we're in a little bit of a window that we're going to see more of Sam, because they started off the route of Sam's been traumatized by this, and then that dropped off a cliff on Friday's episode, didn't it? So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that. Carla and Lisa moving into the house could be fun. If they don't make something out of Sally finding it just amazing that she's living next door to Mrs. Connor.
Well, remember...
Sorry, they've missed out a trick there.
Who was it? Who was Steve's girlfriend?
Which one?
That she impressed. Tried to impress.
Oh, Demi.
Demi. It's got to be more Demi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Demi Moore.
Hopefully next week's Corrie will be good. I don't know. That is it for Street Talk this week.